It is. Hey guys,
Alright,
what's going on? Welcome back to the podcast of misfortune. That's our new official name.
That's fucking terrible.
All right, so that's Julius there. My name's Caden. You know us.
Oh
We're
no,
gonna.
it did the thing. Oh wait, I'm good. Never mind.
Huh? Huh?
Forget about it. Forget about it.
All right, I'll forget about it. Today we're gonna be talking about a lot of things. Actually, now that I
A
think
few
about it.
things. A few
A few
things.
things. A few. We'll dabble.
I
Dabble
mean,
in something.
yeah. I mean, I've got some. We're gonna go full circle with this, and we're gonna cover everything from, or at least what we're interested in, or what I'm interested in, or what we're interested in from E3, because there were
Yeah,
some games announced there, so we're gonna discuss that. But obviously, we're gonna start with an anime
an
because
anime
that's what we do here.
because we do anime.
We're the anime show at this
We do
point.
the
So
anime.
yeah, we do the anime.
We
So
did the anime. So this month was my pick. And the one that I picked was a little out of the ordinary for me because I never expected to actually watch the show, but I've heard a lot about it. Um, but this month was The Great Pretender.
mm.
A Netflix original anime.
There's no the. It's just Great Pretender. So
Oh, is it? Okay.
get your facts straight,
All right. So,
kid.
yeah, Great Pretender. Um, so what did you think about this going into it? I know that's
Go.
normally how we
Yeah,
start.
that's yeah.
Yeah.
Look, I thought it looked cool. I liked how it was. It was a pretty diverse show. Lots of different skin colors represented here.
Mm,
Um, I thought I obviously thought, like, I've seen the trailer and everything. I I think I knew that it was very much going to be like a Western inspired kind of
right.
show,
Yeah, for
sort of
sure.
in the vein of like a Cowboy Bebop or something like that. But not exactly like that. But I mean, I I I figured this was just like a sort of a plot driven show, and it was going to be all about the crazy shit that happens.
Yeah,
So I mean, and all I knew is that Freddie Mercury did the ending, which is pretty
of
cool.
course.
But I mean, that's all I knew going into it. So my expectations were fairly middling because
Yeah,
I'm not in love with, like, this is gonna sound goofy, but I'm not in love with like plot driven shows necessarily. I like character driven shows a little
yeah,
more, but uh, you know, I
and
watched it, so there you
yeah.
go.
Okay, well, yeah, I think I felt kind of similar about it. In the sense that like it seemed like a well, actually, originally I thought it was an episodic sort of thing.
That's what I thought too. That as
Which I
well.
guess it is sort of in a way, but more like arcs. Um,
Yeah.
but these are, in my opinion, like the most defined arcs of like any show that I think I've ever watched. Um, but going into it, it seems definitely more like one of those shows that, like you said, it was plot driven.
Right.
And that it was more based around like just sort of what they're doing in life, essentially, is how
Yeah.
I'm trying to put it. Um, so yeah, I mean, I've heard a lot about it. It had a surprise. I expected it to be one of those like sort of lesser known shows because a lot of Netflix anime, from what I know, it doesn't take off super well.
Those O&As.
Right, yeah. But it had a surprisingly good rating on Mal.
Wait, what's the rating on Mal? I'm
Let me go and
curious.
find it. But
Yeah.
um, so I figured, hey, it sounds interesting. Let's give it a watch.
Yeah. I mean, I'm glad I'm kind of glad when you pick like different shit like this. We've definitely been on more of like a shonen kind of grind recently,
Yeah.
and it will be continuing.
Yes.
Um, I have sort of been looking for that release for a little while because I inundate myself with shonen
Mm.
constantly, and while it is like one of my favorite genres of anime, like you know. I need a break sometimes. I need a break
Right.
from
Yeah.
the fights, go fight.
Yeah.
So this was a welcome sort of
Yeah.
breather, I guess.
Uh, it has an 8.32 on
Oh,
Mal.
that's good.
That's
That's good on Mal.
that's not bad for sure.
Anything above like an 8 is generally
Pretty
pretty
good.
loved by a lot of
Yeah.
people. Um,
Um, but yeah, so I mean, I guess we'll talk about the little arcs.
yeah, we'll get into it. Well,
Um,
actually, okay. First I want to talk about the opening. What do you think of the opening?
opening. So, I'm pretty indifferent to the opening.
Yeah,
It's whatever. The full
yeah,
version is like 8 minutes long or something.
yeah.
And I have a playlist with all the openings on it that I've from
Right.
shows that I've listened to. I was kind of dreading adding that, but it's fine. I mean,
Yeah,
I don't think it's
I,
anything
I
amazing, but
definitely knew. I was like, okay, we're watching a heavily Western influenced anime when it was playing like fucking jazz as the intro.
yeah.
Because I mean, from what I heard, like Japan generally like was inspired by jazz from like the West, and that's how jazz sort of grew in Japan. And that's
Hmm.
I mean that shows in most of the Western inspired shows you see. Like I'm pretty sure there's jazz in like Cowboy Bebop, right?
Yeah,
Like
there's
there's
quite a bit and
yeah,
I think I read something how the director of like Cowboy Bebop, he went to America or he used to live in America, and
yeah,
that's why Cowboy Bebop is so American. So it could be a similar thing with the director of this too.
right. Well, because this I mean this show's set all over the world, so I mean I could only presume that they've possibly been to these places or at least know these places to some extent because it's quite a few locations. But I mean, yeah. So for me, the opening is it's one of the rare anime openings that I skip every time, like after the first time that I've seen it, because I don't know what it is like I don't think the song is great. Like it's just standard
It's
fare
whatever.
like jazz to me, and like the visuals are fine, I guess. They basically show all of the arcs, which is classic anime move. But
Yeah.
I don't know. I think it's okay. It's whatever. But
Yeah.
I guess we can get into the first arc.
Yeah. So the first one was the Hollywood arc.
Hollywood, yeah.
So
Good
okay.
place to start. I like
First,
that.
I wanna start with the first opening because in my opinion, or not the first opening, the first episode,
Right.
because in my opinion, it has a very strong first episode.
I agree.
And it's pretty much just talking about Makoto and his pretty much just like it gives a little bit of background, and that's
Yeah.
what I like about the show is that each character has their arc. So the first
Yeah.
one is Makoto, the second one is Abby, the third one is Cynthia, and the last one is Laurent.
Laurent.
Laurent. Sorry, I can never pronounce his fucking name. But the good thing about like the character backgrounds of the show is they never give it to you all at once. It's
Yeah.
very spread out, and you slowly get to unravel. And
Right.
they drop hints about it, so it makes you like think and question and wonder.
Right.
Especially the Abby arc for me, because I was
Oh
like, why
yeah.
does she give a fuck if this guy's in the military? And you find out she's an ISIS, or she was an ISIS. But
Well, yeah, I guess we'll get to that when we get to that. Okay.
yeah,
The first thing I noticed about the first episode, um, I really like the style of the show. I think the character designs pop. I think
mm,
they're really good, and I really like the backgrounds that they do. Like the lineless backgrounds are a
yeah,
really nice stylistic touch, and it really works with the tone of this show. And it's great. But I mean, this first episode is just great in that it establishes the 400 IQ plays and the
yep,
exchanges between Makoto and Laurent that we're gonna see throughout the series, all the way to the last episode, basically. Uh, and that's that was that was something that I expected. I was like, okay. So the least they could have done is make these clever and like make them smart
Yeah.
in a sort of way. And they did. I mean, I kind of like how the breakneck pace at which this moves. It's like, all right, we're going to fucking America now. We're here, baby, and we're gonna work together. And it's just like, not just get it all out of the way.
Right.
These are people that just like live life at a very fast pace. That's yeah. I like the first episode. You
Yeah.
get a Soldier 76
Yep.
movie producer in there. Great guy.
Yeah.
Love him.
Um, yeah, I agree with a lot of that. I feel like the first episode definitely does a good job of like setting things up and establishing the tone.
Yeah.
And to piggyback off what you were saying about the artistic style, it definitely reminded me a lot of JoJo Part 4.
Mm.
And I
Very
wasn't even thinking
colorful,
about
very
that.
vibrant.
Yeah. And I wasn't even thinking about that, and then I remember like looking like at the sky in some
Right.
scene, and it was like orange.
Yeah, they would just switch it up. I
And I
really
was
like
like,
that.
"Oh, that reminds." Yeah, and I remember like JoJo or Part 4 being very, very vibrant and bright.
Yeah.
Um, and it definitely like it's a feel good show for sure.
Oh,
Um,
absolutely. This is a
and
great comfort show.
it's along a lot of the same lines as like Ocean's 11 or whatever, or the
Yeah.
Ocean's trilogy, where they'll get away with the heist, and there will be a bunch of dramatic, just some dramatic like testimonies out of or testimonials, however the fuck you say it, out of a lot of the characters after they just pulled off something big and extravagant.
I I
Um,
I really like so we get introduced to so I mean Makoto and Laurent, I already like them both because,
yeah,
Laurent is
they're
cool
very
and
likable characters.
Makoto is likable as a protagonist. But then you get introduced to Abby, who's sort of playing this character in the very first scene she's in.
Yeah,
Uh but then she kicks the shit out of Makoto after and it's good.
good fun
I
times.
I really like Abby. I think I think she's not just like a
The girl.
the girl, which she could have
Yeah,
very easily
yeah,
just
she
been
definitely
the
could have.
girl. And she's not, and she's like, she's very what's the word? She's irritable, but
Yes,
it's not because that's just who she is. It's due to the trauma that she faced in her childhood that we get revealed later, which you're right. I mean, I really like the way that this show unveils information over time and over arcs. Uh, so and so I think this first arc is really solid because it shows first of all it shows Makoto what makes him stand out from the other
yeah,
pretenders.
yes,
And it's that he, like, behind whatever lies he's selling, he is like honest, usually pretty honest in at least one aspect. Like,
right.
he honestly likes that guy's movies. Like, he sat down and watched the producer's movies, and he genuinely liked them. And that's what kind of sold him to the guy, was just that genuine feeling of like, oh, I actually enjoy your shit. Now, let's make drugs together.
Yeah,
Make something beautiful.
right. So another thing that I really liked about this movie, or not this movie, this
Arc?
the well, just the show in general, and to
Right.
piggyback off what you were saying about Abby, it's it's one of those shows that doesn't have like forced forced relationships. Like I think they handle the relationships in the show really well, especially
Mm,
like um so for example, Abby and Makoto, they hint at like something there,
right.
but
But they never
it never
dive fully
happened.
in. Yeah,
Right, exactly.
I appreciate that.
And I think that I definitely liked that a lot more than a lot of shows. It's like there has to be a love interest
Yeah,
or
I mean,
whatever.
I think that's what I like about all these pretenders is that all of their relationships are fairly platonic.
Right.
Laurent will like hit on Cynthia but she'll be like, yeah, fuck you, blonde
No.
asshole. You know, it's a nice change of pace. I'm glad there's not any romance to sort of bog it down. It's more like it to me. It's more like Abby and Makoto. They're starting to form a closer relationship, and they could end up together after the show. They could not. Who fucking
Yeah,
knows? Life goes
exactly.
on. It's not. It's not. Yeah, it's not like integral to the plot or
Yeah.
anything. So that's you're right. I appreciate that aspect.
So I guess getting into the story of it now.
Yeah.
Um, so before well, I guess I'll ask that after everything's all said and done. But
hmm
what did you think about just this first arc?
The first arc,
Yeah,
I think it's really solid. It showcases Makoto's skills, and then it also establishes the motif with the capsule toys, which I
yeah,
really like. I actually want to go back and see what they all kind of represent, because I'm sure they all because I know, like, I think I can guess, like, the one he gets at the Singapore Sky arc. Like, I'm pretty sure it's like a farmer. It's like to represent him wanting to live a more honest life, I think.
right,
I'm not sure what the rest of them represent, but that one was the easiest to read for me. But it also establishes Makoto's, like, sort of sympathy that he has for children, because when he was a child, he had to deal with his father being exposed for being involved in human trafficking. After being a lawyer that he looked up to and really respected, he had to grapple with that truth, whereas his mother actually could not grapple with that truth, which, you know, that establishes Makoto as not being a stranger to lies and pretending, and so it's a little more believable that he can sort of sell himself on all this, despite being a fan of his honest lawyer father, or what was his honest lawyer father.
right.
And I so yeah, his sympathy for children. He meets this bodyguard guy who's a really cool dude, and
Yeah,
he has a son. And I don't know. I like that whole episode where they go to the amusement park. It was a
yeah.
nice,
He was helping out well, not helping them out, but he was just hanging out with their
yeah.
little family.
That was a really nice and that's what I like about this show, is that it can just, like, kind of slow down sometimes, and, like, let's chill for a second. Let's get away from all the noisy jazz and the extravagant heists, and let's chill here for a second.
Yeah, for sure. Um, so I guess we're gonna start with it. So yeah, so in the first arc, it's clearly like the Makoto arc,
Yeah.
right?
Well, actually,
And
I actually didn't, like, get that this was the Makoto arc. I thought every arc was going to be the Makoto arc,
well, yeah,
until we
yeah,
get to
yeah, yeah.
Singapore Sky, and it's like, okay, we're covering every
I
character.
guess comparatively,
Yeah,
after watching the show, you can definitely tell.
right.
Um, and just sort of piggyback off what you said, they do a really good job of establishing, because there's a lot of motifs in the show, such as like the capsule toys,
Yep.
and that's sort of representing, well, in my opinion, and I might be very wrong about this, but it's sort of representing both his connection to his mother, but also
Right. Yeah.
how he sort of has this preconceived notion about roles in society,
That's very true.
and
That's
how people
actually a
are,
very good point.
yeah, and how people are sort of meant to fulfill some sort of, not necessarily a type, but I guess, yeah, just like a role.
That's actually a very, yeah.
And
I
how
didn't think about it that way.
nice. I said something that Julius didn't know. But no, so I think it does a very good job of explaining that. But then also a lot of the shit that they talk about in this first season, or not the first season, but this first arc, it's not just
Yes,
completely
apparently
forgotten
there's
about.
2 seasons.
Yeah, right.
Plot
It's
twist.
it's not just completely forgotten about, right? Like they continuously use it
Yeah.
um over time. And that's one thing that I definitely enjoy, is that, they have a lot of callbacks
Yeah.
to some important moments in the first arc, and then they continue to do that with the rest of the arcs.
Yeah. Uh like how I was saying before, I also think the capsule toys are sort of like I think Makoto is, like, I already said he's kind of sympathetic towards children, but I feel like he's very childlike. He just has, like, a very innocent, like, level about his character, and that's why something that happens later on kind of is crushing because his sort of whole character and demeanor has changed.
Mm,
So I think that's I think the capsule toy angle. I think he has I think he still holds on to his childhood somewhat because it was somewhat robbed from him, but you know I don't okay, so this arc, I think it has a really good ending. Do you agree with
yeah.
that? I think it has a
No,
great
I
ending.
absolutely agree.
Like I think the ending, that episode where it ends, is one of my favorites in the show.
It provides a good bit of closure.
Yeah, absolutely.
And it's like, but it's also like not closure in the sense of like, yeah, the show's gonna end. It's more closure in the sense of like Makoto knows his purpose,
Right.
uh,
Yeah.
despite the fact that he continuously tries to leave.
Yeah.
But yeah, I think it's definitely a good ending.
Um, I I will say, Joe Mother. I will
Mm,
say that this arc also establishes a precedent where um we're dying, but it's actually a fake out, and
yeah,
I think sometimes that works, other times it doesn't. And
yeah, that got a little bit old after a
it
little
got a
while.
little bit stale. It's like, okay, they're obviously not like fucking dead. Let's be real, ladies and gentlemen.
If
Um,
they if well, if they wouldn't have done that, I would have totally thought that Abby and Cynthia were dead at the end. But you almost knew, like for a fact, like no, they're not dead.
right, some sort of con is being pulled here. Someone's
Yeah,
pretending.
someone's
Someone.
being quite the great pretender.
Yeah. So I mean, yeah, I think the first arc is very strong. I really like it, and I'm sold
Yeah,
on this. I'm sold on the show at this point.
yeah, that's what definitely sold me, and it was like, okay, I picked the right show.
Yeah.
Um, so the second arc, I guess, unless you wanted to say something more
Oh,
about that.
GTA moment.
What?
Look in the chat.
I'm not in your game anymore,
Oh, okay. Never mind.
unless you want me to invite, or unless you want to invite me again. But um,
Yeah, Singapore Sky.
yes. So this is my second favorite arc behind, of course, what is blatantly the best one.
Mm.
But excluding that, this is definitely my favorite arc. Um, I think Abby was my favorite character for a very long time in this show.
Yeah.
Um, because you could tell there was a lot of shit in her background, but you didn't know exactly what.
Right. Yeah.
And they kept on hinting at it, and that got me really hooked on her character. But then also, I like the again, kind of roping back. I like the fact that she's she didn't have to be the girl in the show, and she didn't have
Yeah.
to be the love interest.
An object. Yeah.
Yeah, and she kind of was, uh, yeah, you know what I mean.
Strong female character.
Yes, yeah, exactly. Um, but so this going into it didn't seem like it was her arc, but then they quickly made it, definitely something. It focused on her for sure.
Yeah.
But I like the idea of they do some pretty crazy shit in this show.
They
And
do.
this is definitely one of the craziest things is hijacking like an international air sports race.
Yeah.
Um
Ambitious compared to the last one, honestly.
exactly, yeah. But I definitely enjoyed it. They had a lot of this one I think is uh the most fun arc. Um because
I think I'd agree. Yeah.
because the next one is kind of depressing and it's like
True.
art.
And it's like
Um
art, which is bad. It's not
yeah,
like
which is
we're
bad and that's
discussing
like
art.
not good. Um but and
The not
then
good.
exactly. But then the next one is kind of depressing with Laurent's background and a lot of the shit that's going on.
Yeah.
The first one, it's not depressing, but I wouldn't describe it as fun either.
I had fun with the first arc
Um,
personally.
well, it was definitely fun, but there was a lot of build up and that made it a little bit slow for me, in my opinion.
Okay. Fair
But with
enough.
this one, you could they just it was the most bright for sure, the most vibrant.
Yeah, I love the
Um,
setting. The setting is great.
yeah. And that's one thing with the show is that the cinematography and the art style,
Yeah,
it's just so good, and
it's
it's
great.
very good at defining like, okay, we were there, now we're here.
Great use of colors.
Right.
Absolutely.
Yeah. Um. So yeah, what are you thinking about this one?
Okay, well, actually, I mean, there's kind of like before like the arc really starts. There's almost sort of like like a more episodic thing where we're following Makoto, who actually turned himself in, which I like that.
Yeah.
I like that detail. Or I like that plot point. But and so he goes to prison, gets out, and decides he's gonna start living an honest life. But
Yeah.
meanwhile, you have Laurent and the boys
The
uh,
boys.
scamming this guy into giving them a fuck ton of money. Where Abby's like fighting this girl in this underground ring, and
Right.
I really like that episode. Like the the guy that they're scamming, he has like an employee, and he just like not fucks her like sexually, but he like
Yes.
fucks her over, and they give her back all this fucking money, and she's like, oh, let's go.
Yeah.
And
I completely forgot about that.
that's what I like about the Great Pretenders is that they're ultimate. Like at first, you could easily like in the Hollywood arc at first be like, you guys are just in this for the fucking money and nothing else.
Right.
But they're I mean they're pretty benevolent. They're benevolent thieves basically, benevolent scam artists that like to either stop something that's super corrupt or give back to people in general, which I really like. And that's I forgot about that the last episode of the Hollywood arc when Makoto gets knocked out and wakes up on the island. It's just all these people, and they're just having a good time on this island, and I really like that. I like how they're not always in some fucking dingy like underground base. Like, all right, this is the next person we're gonna fucking scam, guys. It's a nice change of
Yeah.
pace.
Yeah, for sure. Um. Yeah. Honestly, I completely forgot about that episodic little
Yeah,
arc.
yeah.
Um. So I guess yeah. After
It's kind of a
that,
one-off, so it's understandable.
right. After that is when they get into
Singapore Sky.
Singapore Sky.
And
Which
I really like this arc too. I really like that it shows Abby's struggles to pretend what with all of the baggage that she has in her past.
right.
Uh and how it doesn't come so easy. Uh and I I think that having her pilot a plane was a really good decision. And like generally I really like the scenes where she's like reliving her fucking the fucking war that she was in basically, and she's throwing up and shit, and it's just very intense. And
Yeah.
that's what I like is that it doesn't shy away from those sort of aspects. They show a lot, not like blood and gore and shit, but like they show the horrors of the
Yeah.
warfare that she went
Yeah.
through. Um, but also I think this is just a really good like it's a really good starting point for or not starting point necessarily, but like sort of continuation of Abby and Makoto's relationship that feels very natural. She doesn't just open up to him immediately, and he doesn't just get right through. But instead, it's sort of a struggle to get through to someone, which is realistic for someone with that much trauma and baggage. So I really like that aspect, and I like how it all sort of culminates in that scene at the end
Yeah.
where they're jumping out of the window. He's like, "Oh,
Yeah.
you think dying's fun?" And they just fucking dive right out the window. Luckily, she has a parachute on. But I mean, I pretty much every single arc. I really like. A big there's a big thing with pretending in every single arc.
Yeah.
The movies you get the base level like movies aren't real, they're pretend. Then in this arc you get the pretending to lose a race, Next arc, you get counterfeit paintings, pretending to be the real painting, and in the last arc, I guess I would say it's like pretending to be a legitimate business, and
Yeah.
sort of disguising all the fucked up shit that happens in that business.
As Freddie
But
Mercury once said, pretend that I'm doing well.
yeah, and they are doing well, but be- off of the
Yes.
backs of child slaves. So,
Yes, exactly.
uh, and that's what I wanted to talk about was the sort of subplot that you have with the guy who whose fucking plane crashed in a
Yeah.
race a long time ago, which I mean, I think it was good. I think I more so liked how they ended up tying it into Abby's story, him being military and all.
Yeah.
Uh, and I again, you sort of get this aggression from Abby because of all the baggage that she has, but Makoto is there to sort of balance things out for her and be like, "Hey, whoa, chill, don't kill this guy."
Right.
And I really like that whole part. If there's anything else I like about this arc, uh, I mean that's really all that stood out to me personally. But
Yeah.
it was a really solid
Um
arc though. It's up there.
yeah, that's I mean, you summed up a lot of what I was planning on saying. Just about yeah, like how they tie it all in.
Yeah.
And it's a good a very emotional arc, and
Oh,
you
for
can
sure.
tell she's with like especially how you said with the whole pretending thing. I
Yeah.
mean, you can tell they're she's trying really hard like to fit in with these people while she has this very tragic backstory.
Right.
And yeah, no, I thought her arc was good.
Yeah, so I mean, just in general, this arc was really solid. I definitely agree with you. It's definitely better than the fucking painting arc.
Yeah.
I don't know if I like this one or the Hollywood arc more. It's tough. It's tough for me. I'll have to give it a rewatch sometime and
Yeah,
figure that out.
yeah. Um, well, I guess on to the Hollywood arc now, or not the Hollywood arc.
The Pele
The Pele arc.
Pele arc,
Yes.
not
All right.
parody. We ain't covering that
No,
show.
no, we are not.
Not for a
So
while.
yeah. So, how does this start?
I don't know.
I forget.
Makoto works at a fucking sushi
Yeah.
restaurant,
Okay. Yeah.
and he's living in Paris now. I kind of like that. There's a time skip
Yeah.
between every single arc. It's not just back to back jobs constantly. I like that.
Right. Um. So I guess, but this one, now that I think about it, it has such a weird start.
It does.
Um. It's pretty much Makoto accidentally sells a painting that's worth a lot of money so that he can get this family out of poverty because I think they're about to have to move.
Yeah.
And then that turns into so pretty much they sell the painting.
Well, first, Makoto sees this like art appraiser, like he's a very well
Yeah.
known and renowned art appraiser, shitting on sushi at a restaurant.
Yeah, yeah.
Well, not literally shitting on sushi. Well, he's shitting on the sushi that they fuck.
Yeah. Yeah.
Hating on the
Yeah.
sushi that they serve.
Painting.
And Makoto just so happens to run into him a couple times and finds out that he's, an art appraiser, and he's like, and there's this painting in like this place that he's staying with, like a father and his daughter, like they're letting him stay at their house, and there's this painting apparently that Laurent identifies, and it's like, oh, that's a really famous old painting, and so Makoto's like, all right, I'm gonna sell this for a good amount of money, like it was like 25,000 or something like that,
Right.
25K, 30K, somewhere in that range. Turns out to be worth a shit ton of money, basically. Yeah.
Yeah, essentially. Um and then pretty much after but here's the part that kind of confused me is when I think it's Cynthia finds out who they sold it to or whatever,
Yeah.
and then that leads to let's scam this guy.
Yeah.
Um
Let's try to get as much money out of this as possible, especially considering that it's someone from Cynthia's past that she has a grudge
yeah.
against, which we learn about in the
Um
second half of this arc.
I'd say this guy is probably the biggest asshole in this show.
Yeah.
I fucking hate this dude.
And
Maybe because he's British.
that's talking about a show with human traffickers,
Yeah.
fucking movie producers that take it. I say movie producers like that's a bad thing. Fucking this guy
Yeah.
that takes advantage of women and fucking drugs them and shit. And then you have this asshole who just fucking hates people and hates their art.
Right.
He's just a hater, man.
He
He doesn't
is.
understand.
He really is. So I don't have much to say about this arc.
Me either, honestly.
It's
Like I think Cynthia's backstory is whatever. I think it's fine, honestly. I honestly don't think it really explains like why she is who she is, if I'm
yeah.
being honest. Every fact that we learn about her was only established in this arc. Like all of the emotions that she feels towards this guy in particular are established in this arc. But I still like don't know a lot about Cynthia as a person, really, and that's kind of my gripe with the whole thing. But I mean, even past that, I can forgive the weak backstory if the actual plot of the arc is good. But honestly, it was pretty predictable. Like the big climax of the arc, the auction. It's like, okay, like that's literally the first thing that I would think of when thinking about
Right.
a big auction climax. And there's this woman that holds a grudge against this person. Like it none of it was satisfying because none of it was necessarily interesting or like compelling in a lot of
Yeah.
ways. And that's
It's
why this is definitely like the weakest arc in the show for me.
yeah. I mean, it's just there's not a whole lot. I say there's not a whole lot going on. There's plenty going on. It's just it in the last arcs they definitely did a good job of like making sure you care. And
Yeah.
it's funny because this arc is debatably the most emotional one. But well,
The
no.
next one's pretty
Yeah,
heavy.
other than the next, I guess they're all very emotional, but this one is definitely
That's
very
how you have
emotional.
to have that's how you have to have discussions about the arcs in the shows, like, you know, other than the last one.
Right,
This
exactly.
this one is whatever.
It's like fucking Attack on Titan.
Yeah,
So when we get to
literally.
season 3,
Oh, we'll get there. We'll get there.
yeah.
We'll talk about it.
But you know, I mean, it was fine. I don't think it's bad. It's just
Yeah,
there's
I agree.
it didn't get me hooked as much as the other ones, which is
For sure.
interesting because I find Cynthia to be a very interesting character.
Right. Yeah.
But also, whereas in the other ones, they did a good job of like building it up, and like just subtly hinting at the background.
Fuck mods, dude. Holy shit.
Yeah, that's how GTA works, bud.
Jesus
Um,
Christ.
hold on,
I can't
I'm
I
gonna
can't do
join
this.
you. I'm gonna join. Oh, you leaving?
No, this is terrible.
You leaving GTA?
No, I'm gonna go in my own little server.
Oh, I
I
see.
can't do this.
Um,
People are
but
just spam changing the weather. It's like, fucking stop.
yeah.
God.
Well,
1 second it's snowing, 1 second it's raining. Like,
this is
make up your
Julius's
mind.
rant on
Make up your fucking mind, people. Anyways.
Anyways, yeah, I think whereas in the other ones they had a very good build up,
Yeah.
and they made sure like they subtly mentioned a lot of just about the backstory a lot of the time. And this one, it was meh.
Yeah. It was okay.
Yeah.
Low point
But
for the show, but I mean, still not bad.
no, absolutely
It's
not.
still, I think it's still like well executed for what it is, but like it's just not, it's not interesting, unfortunately.
Right. So I guess
We move on to Wizard of Far East.
Wizard of the Far East, which this one. So I've always, up until now that I think about it, I've always associated this with as being Laurent's arc.
Yeah,
But I think it's also a little bit of Makoto's arc.
oh, absolutely, and I kind of I like that. I like that a lot because in a way, it is. So every episode or every arc so far in this season has been 5 or 4 episodes. This season is 9 episodes, so it's a mix of 5 episodes and 4 episodes. So it's kind of 2 arcs in one, to be honest. So you could even justify that to be, you know, another reason why it's both of their arcs, which I'm glad it wasn't just focused on Laurent. I'm glad they gave a little more shine on Makoto's backstory and even some new developments.
Yeah. Um, mainly the whole dad
Yeah,
or daddy. Um, so this starts with what? I'm trying to think about it.
Makoto being
Um,
like, "I'm done."
yeah, yeah, yeah,
And
yeah.
going to get a honest job in Japan, which he thinks he gets, but he finds out that the means in which they operate is not honest and
No,
is not. They're fucking
quite
pretending.
illegal.
They're pretending.
They are the great
They
pretenders.
are the great pretenders, and that's something that I kind of like about Makoto's story in this arc is he sort of realizes that it's not necessarily so black and white, and that they're uh even the most what are considered the most honest and legitimate of jobs in Japan or anywhere can have some fucked up shit behind them and have some degree of pretending behind them in a certain way. In this instance, the pretending pertaining to child slave, so child
Yes.
slavery.
How fun.
Yeah.
Um, so yeah, pretty
CCS,
much
child chattel slavery.
yes. So this starts out as infiltration.
Yeah, the infiltration arc.
Where he basically, without his knowledge, infiltrates this child slavery ring. Um, and so what happens after he finds out through Laurent,
Yeah.
and what happens after that? I'm completely blanking on a
Yeah,
lot of
I
this.
mean, I'm pretty sure they're just like, all right, let's team up.
Yeah,
And
let's do this.
as Makoto gets in closer with the director of the company, they he meets. Okay, I was actually kind of excited whenever they brought the guy from the plane arc in, the really good pilot.
Yeah.
I was thinking they might pull a Fast Five. They did not until like the
No, they
very
didn't.
tail end, but they did not pull that off, unfortunately. But I was thinking, they'd bring the fucking bodyguard in.
Yeah,
Get all the boys together. But that's not what happened. Instead, they
unfortunately not.
scam the director. And they basically sell off Abby, who's pretending to be the sister of Ibrahim, one of the villains of the previous arcs. And she's very valuable to these people. She's worth millions of dollars. Basically just based on her status and looks.
Right.
And uh and so it's then whenever Abby gets put in this room where she just plays video games for a while,
Yeah.
waiting to be sold off, and all the while Makoto's checking in on these kids that have been trafficked to this company, and they're starving. It's super dark in the room that they're in. They're just in shit conditions.
Right. Um, and that's when the whole rival gang or rival organization arc starts.
Yeah,
Mini arc,
Shanghai, the Shanghai
Shanghai.
company. Yeah.
So with that, pretty much what's going on is so I'm still a little bit confused on that
Mm.
because that is when Makoto's dad starts playing a part in it.
Yeah.
But it said that they're rival gangs, but then also Makoto's dad is in the other gang and he gives it away that Makoto's trying to help the kids. Um
Okay. Well, first of all, I just wanted to discuss that reveal that was his dad working with
yeah.
Shanghai. I mean, I should have I should have known. We're getting into human trafficking. I should have known that we were gonna. And
Yeah.
this show is like tends to lean towards coincidence.
Right.
Uh, so I honestly probably should have guessed that, but I really like the reveal here. I think it's really solid. I appreciate that we get some closure on his dad and the nature of his dad. And
Yeah.
yeah, I mean, I think I like Makoto's in sort of not enthusiasm, optimism is sort of displayed here. He's like, we got to go fucking back and save those kids. And
Right. Yeah.
they're like, dude, do you not understand how this fucking system works?
This
Nobody
is
gives
a
nobody
yeah.
gives a shit about us. We're gonna rot here." And Makoto's like, "Oh, all right then." And so he just leaves them, and he's like fucking really bummed out about it, and he's like, "God damn it, I wish I could save these kids." But then they have this. I don't remember how they meet. There's like this. I guess Shanghai and the I guess it's called Suzaku company meet up,
Yeah,
and
or as they
he
pronounce
sees
in
his
dub,
dad.
Suzaku.
Suzaku
Suzaku,
Kururugi.
Hirurugi. Yeah. Um. So, yeah, and that's pretty much they make a deal where no, that's towards the end.
Yeah.
So yeah, so this is when uh Makoto he finds his dad,
Yeah.
and his dad quote unquote helps him to kidnap the kids.
Right.
And then the reveal that his dad is
Great
not really
reveal.
working. The great reveal that his father is quite the great pretender.
Yeah, that was a great reveal though. Whenever they get pulled over by Suzaku, and the dad's like, "Hey, hey, hey,
It
you
was
thought
me all
it was me
along.
all along, son.
You thought I
Sorry, I
was
sold you
good?
out." Yeah,
Ha. Um, but no, yeah, I mean it uh so
that's the first half of this arc, and I mean, just my thoughts on it. Like, I think it has a really strong emotional hook, and it definitely sets like the tone as like this is the arc with the highest stakes here. There's
right,
children's
yeah,
lives on the line. Not just money at this point. There are actual like lives on the line at this point. And
right.
it's a really strong hook of a first couple of episodes. So I'm into this arc. I'm sold on this arc at this point.
Yeah. But then you get pretty deep into it. And one thing that I could definitely appreciate about this arc is that there are levels of pretending.
Yeah.
Um, and they were already pretending quite greatly at the beginning,
There's
but
there's layers to this shit.
as we're about to find out, they will pretend even more.
They're going down a level.
Right. They're going down. Uh, we'll talk about that later.
Yeah.
But so yeah, and this is when it kicks into gear for sure. Because before that, it was like I honestly I didn't really know how much I had liked this little arc.
Yeah.
But then you can tell they were getting into it, and this is when Makoto also gets into it, and
Yeah.
that
Starts smoking
he starts smoking.
because of peer pressure.
Right. Um, and so pretty much Makoto is uh he's forced to stay with them, and he thinks that his friends have been killed.
Yeah.
Right? Yeah. So he thinks pretty much they take him out onto a boat, and Makoto watches his father shoot Abby and Cynthia, presumably killing them.
Right.
But
And
then it takes
I can imagine being sold on this part because, you know, the dad has been pretending, but you don't think about that
yeah,
next layer of pretending that he reveals later.
right. Um, but then it takes a turn that I didn't expect it to, and Makoto is given the choice to murder his dad.
Yeah. The
Um,
director trusts him at this point.
yeah, which he takes up, and he quote unquote murders
Shoots
his dad.
his pop.
He shoots his dad. That's for
Yeah.
sure.
So, okay,
Um,
so when does it go into the Laurent backstory? Is it like after this, or
yeah, I believe
because
so. I believe
I remember we watched like a whole lot of the Laurent backstory, and then like afterwards it shows what actually happened in that entire scene. Maybe, I don't know.
so. I believe then Makoto. So no, it's not immediately after this. So
Yeah, yeah,
Makoto,
not immediately. There's a few scenes.
he then he starts getting like really inducted into this crime
Yeah,
organization,
some
and
great scenes. Very heavy tone at this point because he
yeah,
just thinks he capped his dad.
yeah. At this point, he's just sort of accepted it. You can tell.
Yeah, and it's
Um,
sad. And he kind of foreshadowed it at the beginning. It's like, I don't wanna get caught up in a career that has me pretending all the time. I don't want to be caught up in a lie for all of my life, basically.
Right. Yeah, pretty much. Um.
Kind of like
So,
Shark Tale, where Oscar the fish lies about being the shark slayer, and he gets stuck into that role.
uh,
Great film, by the way.
yeah.
They're about to add it to the Criterion collection.
Are they
Yeah,
the criteria? That's a game.
it's
Is
a
there a game?
series. It's a series of films that have been considered high art, and they fucking sell Blu-rays for it for like $50 a pop.
Have they?
Paprika just got added. So anime rep in Criterion, let's get it.
Interesting.
Anyways,
Well, so I completely lost my train of thought. Um,
yeah, he gets caught up in a lie, and we're
he
talking
gets
about
caught up.
the transition into
Yeah,
the
yeah.
Laurent.
Um, so he then after this, yeah, is when it gets into his backstory because he goes home one day and he encounters his father,
Yeah,
who is like, "Listen, Makoto, I'm gonna tell you a story," and he tells him, Laurent's
the
backstory,
story of Laurent,
the
which has
story
been heavily
of Laurent.
foreshadowed in
It
the
has.
ending. Which okay, just can I just say that the ending is great. It's like
Oh, it is.
it's one of the better endings that I've seen. Very emotional, you know. Freddie Mercury's hitting those notes. It's very emotional, especially with context. But you know, they say gay in it, so that's points for that. Um, great ending, love it.
Yeah. Um. Well, sorry, I just like spaced out there for a second again.
That's all good.
Um, I completely agree with that. This is a no. Well, number one, it's a banger ending.
Yeah.
But
Which
then
now looking back at the Crunchyroll Awards, there were actually so many bangers nominated that I would have a hard
yeah,
time picking.
yeah, for sure. But then also it heavily hints at um his backstory.
Yes.
Which at the time I didn't know it was him, but you later learned that it is indeed him, and the ending's about him essentially.
Yeah.
Um,
Which the song
but
fits very well, by the way. They picked a great song. I almost feel like they wrote his character from that song.
oh, absolutely, yeah. Um, I I kind of half think that they only picked that song, or they only picked the name of the show to be that, so that they can use
Just
that song,
yeah,
and
yeah.
they built it off of that, which
They
wouldn't
pa-
surprise me. But
yeah, they paid however much to actually get the rights to that song.
right, um, yeah, I'm sure it was probably so much.
Yeah.
But so yeah, so this is when we get Laurent's backstory, and this this hooked me. Like I didn't know if I was before this, but this is when I was in.
I would hope so because there's about 4 episodes left in the series.
Yeah, 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 yeah. Well,
You're
hooked in the
into
sense of
it,
like
but yeah,
I have to see what's
emotionally
happening.
invested. Yeah.
Yeah, like at one point I was watching like 5 episodes a day or something like that,
Ooh, shit. The
which I'm
grind.
doing now with this show that I
Oh,
won't speak of. Not
oh.
every day, but sometimes.
Yeah. Hey,
Um.
whenever you start a certain season, you're watching that shit with me, buddy.
Oh yeah.
Yeah.
Well,
No
I'm excited.
choice.
I'll
No
put you with
choice
the
in the
dog
no
barking.
no choice in the matter.
No choice. But so yeah. So pretty much, I was getting hyped for this. Um. So it explains Laurent's backstory about him and Dorothy. Um.
Dorothy.
Dorothy. Um. And that's when, and it's one of those things where it's like, oh, now I get it,
Everything makes
right?
sense.
Like everything is coming along.
Yeah.
Um, and it explains how Oz was in the original squad.
Yes.
Um,
Apparently his name's Oz.
his name is Oz. Well, that's his cool person name.
Yeah, he's the great and powerful.
The great and powerful
You guys remember
wizard.
that movie?
Yes. Um, but yeah, so that it pretty much gives us the long-awaited Laurent backstory.
What do you
Um,
think? What do you think about it? What are your thoughts, man?
well,
What are your thinking thoughts?
what are my thinking thoughts? So this is definitely an emotional high point for the show.
Mm,
Uh, in that like you see a side of Laurent that you haven't seen before, for
mm,
sure.
yeah.
Um, and you see him, he falls in love with this girl and everything's going well, and then boom, she's dead. And it's like, and one of the biggest things that got me was the fact that literally the exact same thing just happened to Makoto, or what he thinks
Mm,
just happened. Like
yeah.
same exact way, pulled him out on the boat, and popped him.
It's a cycle.
And so I found myself seeing a lot of similarities between um Makoto and Laurent.
Absolutely.
For sure, a lot of yeah, just a lot of similarities and a lot of connections there. But then also that, like I said, that's definitely the moment where it's like, oh, I understand now.
Yeah.
And I had revelations watching those couple of episodes.
Revelations.
Yeah. Um, but no, they're very solid episodes. I very much enjoyed them. Probably, I think Laurent's backstory, though, I think it's 2 episodes.
Yeah.
I think those are probably my 2 favorite episodes in the show. Other than maybe that episode where Makoto goes insane.
Yeah. My man goes insane.
Yeah.
Um, I don't think I love this backstory as much as
Oh,
you.
yeah?
Um, I I like it enough. It makes great sense. I think the concepts in it are awesome, and Laurent is a great character. Uh, yeah, it was good. It was. I mean, it was really good. I mean, I myself wasn't too invested in Dorothy as a character.
Yeah.
I don't really know why, but you know, her death was it was something.
Greatly exaggerated.
It was
As well.
apparently, which we'll talk about that later. But
Yeah.
I did really like the old squad of pretenders. You got
Yeah.
the granny that's with them. You know, you got fucking you got Oz, you got Laurent, you got was Cynthia in the squad? Was she in
She,
the
no. No, no, no.
Okay.
She's in the
Oh
new
yeah, she
age.
gets recruited after. Yeah.
Yeah.
And then you have, you know, Dorothy, who I mean, I, I wasn't completely emotionally invested in her, and I wasn't very like saddened by her death, but I did really like her character. I liked how lively she was. I loved how she was all for the thrill of the scam, basically.
Yeah.
And that's what kind of allowed them to keep going. Like Laurent was like, "Hey, maybe
Maybe
we
we should
should
stop
stop."
pretending so much.
Yeah, and she's just like one less ride every single fucking time.
Yeah, exactly.
And yeah, I mean, I did think this. I think the best thing to come out of all of this is Laurent's character, and it definitely solidified him as one of the top tier ones in this show for me. You know, his his emotions towards Dorothy, like it even gets to like a creepy extent where
Yeah,
she'll
like an
appear.
obsessive way.
Yeah, she'll
Or
like
yeah.
appear
And like
randomly as yeah, as
hallucinations.
like a hallucination for him, and it's like
I remember
somewhat
watching it.
disturbing.
I remember watching it like 1 in the morning, and every once in a while that pop up scared the shit out of me.
Oh,
Like, oh fuck.
Dorothy, Dorothy.
um, no, yeah, that part I definitely did like how he again all roping back to pretending. He is constantly
Right.
pretending,
You
and
know, this sort of genius billionaire playboy philanthropist thing that he puts up is like it's all fucking and it was very jarring to see him in like scenes by himself where he's just like
yeah,
still can't get over this one woman despite, you know, I'm a guy who likes to, you know, sleep around. I'm a
yeah,
horny guy,
exactly.
horny on main apparently.
Apparently
And
so.
and so it's a great shock
Pretender.
yeah. It's a great shock to see him in a state like that, honestly. But
Yeah,
that's definitely the best part of that entire little arc was what we got out of Laurent's character from the sort of turmoil that he went through.
right.
So it was
Um,
great. I mean, it was really good. It was really
yeah,
good.
yeah, yeah.
I don't think it was like
So
don't know if it was the emotional high point for me, but I
Mm,
still think it was really solid.
yeah. Um. So then, after this is when you sort of start to figure out the plan.
Yes.
Um, as one would say, the plan is simple.
The plan is simple.
Yes. Um, and it's pretty much talking about how the plan is that. So I forget. Is it like Shanghai thinks they're gonna buy Suzaku or something
They think, yeah, I think they both believe that they're going to integrate the other company into
into their own?
itself.
Yeah, that makes
Right. I
sense.
think that's kind of the gist. I kind of like the translator angle that they have here. It's
Yeah,
another form pretend. I'm pretending I'm saying one thing, but I'm really saying another. I like how it wasn't. I think that's just a really unique angle to take whenever you get this sort of infiltration as the translator. I've never really seen it approached at
right.
that angle, so I like that a lot.
Yeah, it was solid for sure. Um, so yeah, so pretty much you get that little part where they're negotiating, and then the climax of the show where they meet up.
Yes, the big
Um,
meetup.
and this part, I fucking love this part.
Yeah,
Um,
it's really good.
yeah. So pretty much what's going on is they're meeting up to what they both presume is to buy the other one's company.
Yeah.
Um, and this is when the pretending kicks into a whole other
Yeah.
level. One could
Yes.
say it's to quite the great degree.
Multi-level pretending here. This is
Right.
4D chess going on here.
Yeah. Um, so they meet up and oh, it's not the deal goes south, it's that the cops come in.
Yeah.
Cops hit up this place and they steal all the shit. But then another group comes in and tries to take out the cops. And it's to reveal that Harvey Weinstein, Soldier
Harvey
76.
Weinstein. No.
Yes. That's what I
Yes.
thought the entire time.
Basically.
Um Harvey Weinstein, Soldier 76, brought his boys in and they're planning on pretty much taking all this shit for Suzaku
Yeah.
because
Get over here and start
Makoto.
pretending.
Yeah, exactly. It's because Makoto hired them,
Yeah.
and that's the fake out reveal that Makoto he's tired of pretending. Well,
Oh yeah.
he
And
is
and
he's
honestly,
pretending, but for the different side.
honestly, I'm somewhat sold on this. Were you sold on this? Because I
I was,
was.
yeah, I was
I think
because
his whole
well,
performance was very believable with all the
yeah,
stakes that have been built up and the backstory with his father. It was all very believable.
no, absolutely, and it gave me I don't know if you got this, but it gave me really strong Death Note vibes
Yeah, I mean
from his
his
speech.
laugh was very similar.
Yeah, it was like eerily
Right?
similar. And I don't know
Yeah,
if they were basing it off of that, but he does this
possibly.
whole speech with the sword.
Yeah,
I love Makoto with the sword.
Makoto with the sword it's a vibe.
He got
I'm
the
feeling
drip.
it. Yeah, he does.
Um, and
Or he
then
do. Excuse me.
he do got the drip. Uh, and so he makes this whole speech about how he's tired of being treated like shit, essentially by Laurent and the boys.
Yeah, because they've been dragging him along
They've been
on
pretending
their yeah
a
they've been
little bit
dragging
too
him along
much.
on these adventures. So I believe that aspect too.
Yeah, no, for sure. And I mean, honestly, a lot of what he said, like I can get behind. It's true. And then later on, he's like, "No, I wasn't lying when I was saying that.
Yeah, that
Like
was all
I meant
true.
all of it." Yeah,
And
exactly.
it's that hint of Makoto honesty coming through once
Yeah.
again.
Um, but so he makes this whole speech, and uh, that's when Laurent and his dad try to talk him down.
Yeah,
Uh, and then they do some crazy shit.
yeah, 4 million IQ. Get ready.
They Laurent fucking kicks the sword out of Makoto's hand, and his dad just slices him clean.
Which
And I
that
was
I
like,
think that was
holy
I
shit.
think that was the point where I was like, all right, this is memes. I think this is memes.
Yeah, yeah. Well, because you never can tell with
I will.
it.
I don't believe it for a second because I'm just seeing Ozin as and how he was back in the day. Like I don't believe that he would cold blood murder his son like that.
Yeah. I mean, even if you're working for like the fucking mob.
That's where I figured the jig was up.
Yeah.
The jig is up.
Um. So Makoto gets chopped. A massive gunfight
Chopped.
ensues. He gets chopped.
Smoke everywhere.
Massive gunfight ensues.
Not really a gunfight. They're just fucking
Not
shooting off
really.
rounds into the air.
Yeah. Um. And
Which were those real
then
guns? I would assume not.
I think they were. Well, they couldn't have been because people were waving them around.
Yeah,
Someone had to get shot in that room.
someone's getting fucking ricocheted.
Yeah, some of those screams were probably real. But yeah, so they again one of the last instances of the pretending
The pretending,
in this
yeah.
show.
Henceforth, the pretending ceases.
Yes. And they the so Suzaku and
Kururugi.
what's the other group called? Shanghai?
Sure, Shanghai.
Shanghai? I forget fucking whatever it's called. I thought they called them Shanghai just because they're from Shanghai.
All the same to me.
Maybe I'm wrong. Yeah. They open the doors and no one's there, but they find a lever. And they pull the lever. And
Uh,
this part was
a teensy bit over the top.
you and I, yeah, we sort of had the same
Teensy bit.
reaction, and we were like, okay.
Let's come on.
Which I
And they
guess
show the plan and like everything that they had like afterwards, but I just I don't know. And it makes
yeah.
sense. It makes sense, but it's like, did you have to go that hard? Like,
No, you didn't have to build
did
your own
you?
fight. You could have built like 3 stories.
But you made a good point. Like, I mean, I guess they do have like literally a shit ton of money lying around that they don't really do anything
Yeah.
with.
Yeah,
So
you don't see them
they could
spending
have
their money very often.
conceivably funded this, but it's just I don't know. It just didn't feel right. It felt
Yeah.
wrong. It felt so
Yeah.
wrong.
So they pull the lever and they go down an elevator and
Yes.
surprise, they're on I
The
guess it's
island.
Cynthia's island?
Yeah.
I don't know, it's
So,
some fucking
okay,
island.
so and before that, were they like drugged or something, like into falling
Yeah,
asleep
so
before they
yeah,
made it? They
Makoto
were all drugged.
it's revealed that Makoto and Laurent on their respective sides drugged everyone that was on the
Yeah.
plane to where they were going. Which whatever.
Yeah, fine. It's whatever.
And that's pretty much
That's
the
the arc.
show.
Well,
Oh, not
there
the
is
show
there.
yet.
Okay, the ending. We have to discuss the ending. So we do get a little Fast Five here. You know, they pull an all nighter with all of the villains from the arc, which
Yes.
you know it makes sense. All those people are about fucking money, so they're gonna do whatever. They're fine. They'll get their fucking they'll do whatever for a little bit cash, a little bit of dough. They're all greedy
Right.
bastards.
Yes.
And that's what I kind of liked was them all, uniting. And it's kind of like a low key ending. Like we're just chilling on the boat, and like I'm talking to dad, and
Yeah.
we're vibing, and it doesn't feel like a series ending. It feels like a season ending, but it definitely does not feel like
Yeah,
a series ending
for
to me.
sure. But I mean that's I don't really remember a whole
There's a
lot after
couple.
that.
Okay, there's a couple of more things. So for some reason, Laurent is at the fucking is in Washington D.C.
Yeah,
and they
he's
do like this really weird like panning shot to this guy who's giving a speech, presumably the president. It's like, are we supposed to
he has the
know
voice
who
of
this guy
Trump for
is?
some reason.
Yeah, maybe it's Donald Trump in a skin suit. I don't
Hey,
fucking
you Trump.
maybe QAnon was right. I don't know. Like
Yes.
I don't really understand what that was all about, but I sure as fuck understand what this next scene was about, and I'm not happy. Laurent's girlfriend, deceased girlfriend, Dorothy, is not deceased. apparently.
Yes.
She like so what did she like lose her memory or something? Like is
So
she
it's the way that they play it off is I presumably the couple that she's with rescued her from the water, and but the last she's
the
pretending to have lost her memory.
Oh,
But
true.
at the
Oh
very
yeah,
end,
oh yeah,
she
because she
mentions
forgets, or not forgets. She remembers at the end. Yeah, you're right.
at the very end she mentions Laurent.
Yeah. Okay.
So
Yeah. Fuck this. I don't like this.
bad
I
show.
get no. Okay. I guess I'll just have to accept that this is like a show where people don't die. Like, I,
Yeah,
I guess death does not exist
that does not
in
exist
this,
in the Great Pretender
except for
universe.
Makoto's mom. So I guess that's just something I'm gonna have to get used to if there's more seasons. But that honestly cheapens the fuck out of Laurent's backstory for me. It's like the whole goddamn point is that he's supposed to be like super like torn up that she's gone. It's not compelling to bring her back. He
Right.
I don't know. I I did not like that decision. You know what? Yeah, I guess it's like Fast and Furious. Just people are invincible in this.
People don't die, dude.
People don't die in this series. Apparently, I don't know. That was bullshit. Fuck that. If they're
Oh
doing
shit.
another season and they do something interesting with it, fine. Uh, we'll see. I guess. I guess I guess we can talk about our general feelings about
Yeah.
this show now. So
Um.
it's wrapped up. Give our
So,
ratings.
how would you rank the arcs? That's what I was gonna
Okay,
ask you
yeah.
earlier.
I would rank them. I don't know. I guess just like there was a lot of very strong moments in the last arc, so I guess I'll put that first. I'm definitely
Hmm.
putting the painting arc last, and for
Yeah.
the middle two, I think I'm leaning towards Hollywood for second. I don't know. I really like the Hollywood arc
Hmm.
and Singapore Sky in third, but it's close for those two. It's definitely close.
For me, it's 4, 2, 1, 3.
Yeah,
So
makes
it's
sense.
the same as yours, but
Yeah.
flip
I don't know. I
Singapore
definitely
Sky
have
with
to give it a
Hollywood.
rewatch to see which one I
Yeah.
prefer more.
But either way, this was a surprisingly good show.
It was.
Um,
I agree.
I didn't expect I didn't expect myself to like it that much, but I didn't expect you to like it that much either for
Yeah,
some reason.
uh I think above all for me, there's good character shit in this, there's good emotional shit in this. But I personally think that this show is also like a really good comfort show and just like a really good chill show to watch, which I
Mm,
was also surprised by. I don't know. I really like the vibes of this show. You know, I hope they do a season two because I really like these characters. I like the sort of camaraderie that they all have, and
yeah.
this show is really good. I'm gonna slap an 8 on it. Which I mean, for me, an 8 usually means like there's something that really touched me about it, but not quite on the level of a 9. And there's a couple of flaws that I have with it, but I mean, still overall, really
Yeah.
solid show.
Yeah. No, I absolutely agree.
What do you give it? What
Um
are you giving the show?
I give it a 9. Um it was I liked it. I liked it a lot. It was good. I mean,
Yeah.
it was definitely a surprise to me too. Um Not that I thought it was going to be bad, but I didn't expect it to be as good as it was.
Yeah.
Um but yeah, it was a good show.
Yeah. I'm glad we watched it.
Yeah.
So I mean, yeah, that's Great Pretender. That's our show for the month. You sons of bitches.
EP.
I guess we can move on to some other topics. I guess we can keep moving through anime.
Yeah.
So
Um
okay. Well, I just want to start out. So, Caden and I, we watched a film.
we watched several
We
films.
watched two films. We watched two films.
Okay.
Two anime films. And the Kara discourse is about to continue, folks.
Yes, it
So,
is.
I guess we'll start with we left off at 5 in the last one, so we'll start with 6. I hate this one. This one sucks. This one's terrible. Can we both agree on that?
Yeah, it's not good.
Thank you. It's like It's like a spin-off with like it's not I guess yeah, it's basically a spin-off. Fuck you. It's a spin-off with Mikia's sister who wants to fuck him, and they go to like this fucking this Catholic school or whatever, this church school. And
Yeah.
Shiki's there, and it sucks. It's boring. It's not interesting. There's like the antagonist is not interesting at all. I don't
No.
think Mikia's sister is interesting, although she does bring some life into this
Yeah.
series.
It's been pretty depressing thus far.
Some much needed life, but she's still not like a very interesting or good character.
Right.
So this one was really bad. Do you have any other thoughts about it?
Uh,
I give it like a 4. This one's bad.
yeah, there's some good moments. I think the fight's good. I might actually move it down to a 5 now that I think about it.
No!
What?
Shit! That's
Yeah, it's
crazy.
rough.
Caden giving something a 5.
Yeah, it's
Simply
rough.
imagine.
Yeah.
And why is it here? Like why is it in this?
It doesn't serve a
I don't think it
purpose,
serves
really.
yeah, I don't unless I'm missing something. I don't know.
Yeah.
It's kind of just there.
There's not a whole lot going on in this movie.
Yeah.
It's
So now
yeah.
we're going to move into the discourse about film 7. Caden, I want you to give us your rating and justify it, please.
Okay.
State your case to the jury.
After today,
To the jury.
I might change my rating.
To the jury.
However, so okay. I gave this movie a 10 out of 10.
Audible gasp from the jury.
Yeah. I gave this movie a 10. I think the villain is great. However, let me just preface by saying, based on what Julius says, it could make me change it because I've been on the fence about this. It's a very low 10. And I probably should go back through the Kara movies and readjust some of my scores,
Look, man. You give these movies whatever you want. If that's the pure emotional reaction that you have when watching this movie is 10 out of 10, that's valid. I'm just interested if there's any like other reasons why you really why you love this, or like tell me why you love it, I guess.
Okay. One of the biggest things is the fact that Shiki and Mikia's relationship has not gotten any play.
No.
You don't know what the fuck's going. Well, it has gotten play, but you don't know what
for
dynamic.
about 8 to 10 hours.
Yeah, but you don't know what their dynamic is.
Yeah.
And you're not really sure. Do they like each other?
Well, I know Mikia likes her. I'm just gonna be straight up about that.
Yeah, clearly.
That man waited out in the fucking rain every day. Like this is the definition of a simp. Of a simp. And it's okay to be a simp. I'm not saying that's not okay, but I'm just saying that's what he is.
That is indeed.
It's a fact.
Yeah. So, but you've never seen a whole lot of emotion of Shiki. So the question is, what's going on with her, right?
What is her deal?
Yeah, exactly. You don't know how she thinks of Mikia. You don't know if she likes him. You don't know if she hates him. Because it seems like it could definitely go either way.
Yeah.
So at least this movie definitely gives you a lot of closure in regards to
On that front.
their relationship. Hold on. There we go. So it does that, but it's just like this has the best, not the best fights, but it has the best emotional fights.
It does have the best fight. It has weed fight, dude.
Oh, I forgot about weed fight.
It has fucking weed fight. Like that's awesome. That's what kind of bumped up the
Um,
rating for me, is the weed fight.
yeah. Uh, weed fight. So the story pretty much follows um Leo, not Phodia,
Leo.
Shida Zuma or something
Yeah.
fucking like that. Follows him and pretty much it's about him and he's a simp. It's like
Yes.
Perfect Blue but cheeky. Um, so yeah, so it follows him and about how he is trying to, I guess, get Shiki to like him.
I think to fully like embrace him is
Right. Yeah.
like
And
embrace this side of you basically.
exactly. Yeah. Yeah. And he just goes to uh, uh, he goes very far in
Oh,
order
he
to achieve his
does.
goal. In the
He
form
does.
of creating a drug ring.
Not only that,
Um, he he performs some interesting
creating a
actions
drug ring. I
on
love that.
Shiki.
Yeah.
Um, he's
He's something.
he's vigorous.
He's a piece of work. And I mean, I guess you're right. I do appreciate that. Like as a villain, he's like no holds bar. You're like I'm gonna fucking mutilate you, and you know he doesn't hold back. He doesn't hold back. Basically, I
Right.
appreciate that.
Um, I don't know. I don't have a lot of. This is more of like a feeling, a gut
Yeah,
feeling kind of thing.
I understand.
Than
I
an
understand.
analysis thing for me, for sure.
Okay,
This one, I just,
I was just
for some
curious.
reason, and I am readily available to admit that these movies are quite boring at times, but I really like them, and I'm
You
not
like
sure
them? Yeah.
why. I think I
Okay.
just like Fate.
Nah, Type Moon. There you go.
Type Moon.
There you have it, folks.
Nasu wins.
So okay, I'm gonna talk about this movie. So
Yeah,
I
you do your spiel.
so I, my original rating of this was a 4.
Mm,
Um, but in hindsight, when actually like examining and looking at the content and the plot and everything that happened in this movie, this is a very solid ending to the arc of Shiki and the arc of Shiki and Mikia's relationship. This sort of the side of Shiki that we've thought to be Shiki but is not really Shiki. Um, and it's the more murderous side. And Mikia has always tried to reach out and be that guy to be like, hey, stop, don't murder, and
stop.
be nice.
Don't do it.
And I think it's really interesting that her psyche is sort of examined through this other person, because you know at the end of the day, it it is another person basically. It's not
Yeah.
good old Shiki. It is a projection that she has essentially created. But it's also just, you know, it's Type Moon, so it's got to be like an actual external person. But she, I, I think this movie, the ending makes sense, and it would be really satisfying if it didn't take us 6 fucking movies to get here.
Yeah.
Um, I like you could have done this in like movie 3. There you go. That's it. Like I understand this is sort of like an episodic thing where it's like we're doing different shit
Oh,
every movie.
you can't necessarily blame the fact that it's a bunch of different movies because at the end of the day, Ufotable didn't write this.
Well, listen, I'm not blaming Ufotable. I'm just saying there's way too much shit in this story jam packed in there needlessly for me to give a fuck about any of this. I can understand Shiki's story and like the arc that she's gone on without movie 5 probably. I can understand it without movie 6. I can understand it without movie 4. Well, maybe I don't know. Maybe okay, honestly, movie 4 could have been condensed into one fucking scene. Let's be real for a second,
Yeah,
okay?
probably could have.
Movie 3, I did not like. I didn't need that. What the fuck did that one girl do after that movie? What did she even do? Was she even involved in any of the other movies? No. It's all episodic, and it's fine if you want to do that, right? But just for me, this arc has been dragged out way too long for me to give a fuck at this point. It's just I'm being inundated with so much information that isn't even relevant to like the central arc that the two characters go on in the relationship. But I mean, I will say I really like the psychological examination of Leo, aka Shiki, basically, or
Yeah,
Shiki's murderous
knockoff
side.
Cheeky.
I mean, I really liked all that. You're right, the action is good. There's some really good shit in here. But I'm gonna go ahead and talk about my biggest gripe with this film, and it kind of echoes what I've been saying about this franchise so far.
Mm,
The climax is like painfully slow. Like
it
it
is.
is, and I
Yeah.
understand that these movies are slow. I just don't like that. I don't like it. So that's the end of it. And the climax, particularly after the climax, where not Shiki, Mikia like crawls all the way to Shiki, and they sit there for like 10 minutes, like embracing it. It's like okay, I buy this. I buy this. If their relationship was a little more A, interesting, and B, if it didn't take us 6 goddamn movies to get here. And now it's gonna take us 6 movies to get here, and now it's gonna take us 30 minutes to crawl the fucking Shiki. And that's just I hated that. And that sort of blinded me to the rest of the movie that I actually liked. So I will say that it is a 6 now. It's, it's decent. It has some good shit in there. I like some of the shit in there, but that climax just fucking it killed it for me.
That's
So
understandable.
I don't know. I still have I. That's the thing about this series is like I think there's glimmers. There's really good like glimmers of like interesting themes, interesting like character arcs that are just take way too long to like get to, and so I I still haven't lost complete hope in this movie. Every movie's different. This next movie, the final movie, could be my favorite, and it could be really fucking good. So,
Yeah.
uh, I don't know. Yeah, that's my thoughts on that though. Yeah.
Yeah. Well, no, I think that's fair.
Yeah.
Um, hold on just a second.
Hold up.
Um,
Ding 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 ding.
no, and I get, sorry, I just I get that
Okay.
it's it's not the greatest thing of all time, and it does have a lot of flaws.
Hmm.
I think I definitely like one thing that I think is good, and this isn't necessarily Ka the Kara movies, but it's just Type Moon in
I
general.
mean, yeah.
They do a really good job at world building, in my opinion. Um,
Um, I think most of their shit's confusing, but that may be a me thing. That may just be
it's definitely
my fault.
confusing, but not necessarily like it's confusing, but I have a good grasp on it.
I think
And
it's
maybe this,
very I think it's very in depth, and I appreciate that.
yeah,
I
there's
just
a
don't
lot
like
of
how
lore
it's been.
behind it.
I don't like how it's been integrated into the media, like how we're gonna put Shiro back together as a fucking puppet in Heaven's Feel, and we're not gonna explain why. Sorry. Like I don't like that sort of blindsiding that they like to do. But I do think like Nasu's created a very interesting world and a very in-depth world full of cool ass shit for sure.
Yeah,
I
no,
respect that.
I agree. Um, but yeah, no, I'm excited to cover the last movie.
Yeah, yeah, that'll be
Um,
the end of the Kara arc.
yeah.
It's been going on for a little while.
So going along with Type Moon,
Mm.
I won't say a whole lot about these two, but
Right, you're in betweenies. Almost
it's my
forgot.
in betweenies. Um,
Welcome to in betweenies. Tour.
so I watched two
Type Moon
Type
titles.
Moon properties, two Fate properties.
Mm. Yeah, Fate in
The first
particular.
one I watched was the anime adaptation of Fate Grand Order, Absolute Demonic Front Babylonia.
There you go.
So this one's a little funny.
A little funny.
So you're familiar with, of course, Fate Grand Order, the mobile game.
Yeah, I tried it out. It was pretty decent.
So I think it was, yeah, no, it's the game. They did a poll to see which there are pretty much the plot of it is mankind will be destroyed unless this organization called Chaldea or Chaldea goes back and fixes 7 singularities by getting the Holy Grail back from those 7 singularities. Um, and or 7 and so pretty much the mission is called the Grand Order.
Yes.
So that you can go back and
Is this some kind of grand order?
what is this, some kind of grand order? So it's for some reason they thought it would be a good idea. The players voted on the final singularity, or the 7th. There's actually
That's
one
interesting.
after that. The 7th singularity to be adapted into anime.
That's an interesting decision.
Where they go back to Babylonia and they're doing some shit.
Yeah.
So, yeah, that's what got animated. But then also they, for some reason, they're now going back and making them in like reverse order, but they're also going forward and animating at the same time what comes next in the series.
What the fuck?
So the Camelot shit that you saw I added to my plan to watch, that's the 6th singularity.
Okay.
And then there's a final singularity, which is the end of like the first chapter of the game, and that's also being animated.
Okay.
And so it's like, what the fuck is going on?
I will say, I already kind of said this, but I'm gonna say it again. Nasu has a very big and deep brain.
Yeah.
Like, and I really respect that he has literally built all of this shit. Like, it's crazy.
Right. But yeah, so pretty much not a whole lot to say. They go back to Babylonian times, to Uruk.
Goated City.
Yeah, Goated City. Fucking Gilgamesh is there. He's cool. We get slice of life Gilgamesh.
Hey.
We get
It's based.
fucking so basically what's interesting about this one is that Gilgamesh is the good guy in this one. And he's one of the biggest helps to the main characters. There's a lot of fucking servants. There's just this massive like demon thing that they gotta kill. It's a decent show.
Yeah.
It's nothing amazing.
I will say,
terrible.
I looked at some cuts. Who animated this? Cloverworks?
Yeah. This some
shit is
high tier animation.
Fire.
This shit's they're going
it's not
it's all out.
It's like it's very much different from Ufotable, but it still feels very Fate, and I appreciate that. It looks really good. I will say that much.
Yeah, no, it looks great. So I watched that. That was solid, and then I had time for
wait. What do you give it?
I gave it an 8 out of 10.
There you go.
So my average is a 7 out of 10. So that's slightly above average.
Yeah.
So then I had enough time for another in-betweening because I had grinded Great Pretender.
Yeah.
So I watched the El-Malloi show. Lord El-Malloi Case Files.
My boy Waver.
He pretty much, it's talking about what he did after Fate Zero and how he took over the place of El-Malloi, who was also...
Which is a very interesting direction. I loved Waver. Great character.
Yeah.
From Fate Zero. Great.
Awesome. He's awesome in this. A lot of callbacks. It's a lot of good shit. One thing that I can appreciate is it is extremely loosely tied into Fate. Like the main series Fate. Because this is the same universe, but it's really not about the Fate shit at all. It's not about, like, I think they mentioned the Holy Grail War every once in a while, but like the people, and it's so weird how they're explaining the lore behind this, because apparently the people in like the London magic school You know
Yeah.
those guys. They don't know who like servants are. Like servants and the Holy Grail War, they aren't. That isn't like a big
Oh, so
staple,
that's on the low low. All
like the
right.
magic community.
All right.
Yeah, and I
Go.
found that very interesting. But it was good. I liked it. I enjoyed it.
Okay. Is it like what kind of show is it? Is it like a heavy or at least light on the action, or is it more of like a detective show? You know?
It's definitely detective
Okay.
for sure, but it's also like it's like a mystery, but it's also thriller.
All
And
right.
there were like little arcs. My favorite arc is the last arc where he has to go on this train called the Rail Zeppelin, which is the
Yeah.
name of the show. He has to go on the Rail Zeppelin, which buys and sells mystic eyes. And
Okay.
there's a little reference to Shiki, and they're talking about
Hey.
how the mystic eyes of death perception are like the rarest mystic eyes
Yeah,
ever.
that's nice. I like that. I like that little piece of like
There's a lot.
it feels a little more connected.
There's a lot of very subtle references, but it's definitely not as forced
Right.
as some of the other
I like that.
shows are. But it's solid. It's good. I enjoyed it. Um, yeah.
All right. What do you give it? What are you giving it, bub?
I think I gave that one an 8 out of 10 too.
Okay. All right. All right.
Um, but yeah, good show. And
Solid.
then we get to oh the big one, the big
The big one.
ones.
The big ones.
Julius, you've been getting very into this series as of late.
What?
Um,
Wait. What are we talking about?
we're talking about Fast.
Wait. I want to finish up
Okay,
our anime.
okay,
I
okay.
want to finish up our anime talks real
Oh,
quick before we
okay,
get
yeah,
into
yeah,
that.
yeah.
We talk a lot about Mappa, and there was a Mappa Direct, as Caden calls
Yeah,
it,
Mappa
basically.
Direct.
And they finally debuted the trailer for Chainsaw Man.
Yes.
A shonen series, kind of a horror action blend. I've read some of it. I've read some of it. It's really good, and honestly, it looks like the animation in this is just it's really good. I don't think it's right to set the standard for this show based on what you see in the trailer,
Mm.
but I really like the tone here. I think it really matches. The music is really good. I'm pretty excited for this show, and I'm hoping it's gonna
I'm
be Jujutsu level.
it looks to have similar vibes to Jujutsu, but like definitely its own spin.
Yeah,
Um, similar art. It's definitely what I liked about Jujutsu was from what I've seen a lot of shonen, and I'm sure this isn't always true, but it's commonly bright.
yeah, no, that for
And
sure.
it's very vibrant, but
Right,
Jujutsu sort of set what I hope
very
to be
dark.
precedent in that yeah, that shit was dark. Like,
Yeah,
I mean, they were pulling some dark shit. And this
oh,
looks
they
like
were.
if they do it right, it could be even darker. Because
I
I've
think
read
I think it's even darker. I've read about the first 10 chapters, and it's got some fucked up shit in there. So
yeah, I've read about some of the stuff that's happened in
already,
the shit, and yeah, it
I
it
will say, be warned. The women in this show are going to take over the world. Like they're going to be all over your timeline. They're going to be all over your YouTube feed. It's going to be the apocalypse. It's going to be the chainsaw apocalypse.
even more than fucking Zero Two.
I don't know. That's kind of a high bar, but possibly. I don't know. I'm thinking Demon Slayer level, honestly. I'm kind of scared. I'm fearing for my life. So, yeah, that was that.
Yeah. So
So now
now
we can
on
move into the
to the
3D
family.
world. Uh, so you know us. We set out to do commentaries to every Fast movie. We don't do those anymore.
It got a little stale, honestly, and
Yeah, I agree. And also, it's just kind of a bitch to set up
yeah, it was
like
a lot of
every
effort
time.
for yeah.
Yeah. So we just decided to continue the series. We talked about Fast and Furious and Fast Five on a few episodes prior, but we
Hmm.
finally continued and watched three Fast movies. We watched Fast and Furious 6, the Fast and the Furious Tokyo Drift, which we were going in chronological order. That's why we watched it at this point,
Yeah.
and Furious 7. Um, So I'm kind of the newcomer to the series, so I'll talk about what
Yeah,
I, what
you
I
go
thought
ahead.
about it. Fast and Furious 6. I had somewhat low expectations for that. It was generally like from everything I read, it was like one of the more mixed titles in the franchise. Caden said it was his least favorite,
Yeah.
and if I'm being honest, it actually kind of exceeded my expectations. I I I don't know. There was just a lot of good shit in here. This is like the very first like extremely fighty like hand to hand combat
Yeah.
movie. You're gonna get a lot more of that in like 7 and I presume some of the later movies.
Hmm.
But I think the biggest thing about this movie, Caden pointed out, one of the problems with this movie is that there's a lot of like shit that could have been cut out. I absolutely agree. It's not funny. Like they tried to be funny, and
No,
it's just not.
it's not.
Whereas in like Fast Five, you just got like little hints of like comedy. It's like, oh, sensible, some vaginal activity going on here, and you laugh at that, right? You laugh.
Yeah.
Uh, but I think the biggest thing about this movie for me, like I didn't really care about the whole Letty story. Like it was whatever.
Whatever.
But the best part of this movie for me, oh, actually, there were a couple of really good parts. Is like the whole tank set piece was
That
pretty
was
damn
good.
good.
That was good.
And one of the many times I've laughed out loud throughout this franchise where Vin Diesel and Letty defy gravity
Yeah,
to
where he jumps.
he catches her in the air and lands on a car.
That
And
was so good.
that's just like at this point, like Vin Diesel's just like immune to pain at this point, and there's just like he gets shot in the shoulder by fucking Letty, and he's just like,
He just
oh
walks it off.
well, and he just goes back to their base and just like basically picks the bullet out of his shoulder. He's like,
Exactly. Yeah.
all right, let's just get that. Ooh, that kind of stung. Oh well, move on to the next
Vin
thing.
Diesel ADR. He goes, Ugh!
Uh,
Yeah.
um,
Um,
they have a grappling hook in this
they
one.
do.
Vin Diesel almost fucking dies because
Yeah, he almost
Tyrese fires it off. It's like, and no, the best part of this movie though is the climax for me. The
Hmm.
whole like 18-minute runway sequence is like it's so fucking good. It's shot
It
so
is.
well. The stakes are fucking high. Giselle actually dies. Han goes sicko mode on this one dude.
Yeah.
They're fighting on the plane while Ludacris and Tyrese are driving on the side, and The Rock is fighting whatever his name is, Shaw, and Shaw thinks he can fight him, and they acknowledge it. Like that was not a good matchup in the 7th movie, which I appreciated.
Yeah.
And they fight like this big guy, and The Rock and Vin Diesel actually work together in this one, and they pull off
They do.
this sick combo on this one guy, and like it's great. The climax brought this movie up for me to like a solid 7. I really like this. Really like this one.
Yeah. No, it was good.
And then
Um,
Vin Diesel rises from the dead after the plane catches fire. He's like, "I'm back." It's amazing. It's amazing.
um, yeah. I mean,
Yeah. Why do you hate this movie?
I don't hate it.
You're a hater. You hate on this movie.
It's just it's whatever, you
How,
know.
how dare you?
Like I don't particularly like it. It's
Oh yeah,
very
Joe Taslim's in it. And he's from The Raid, and he does some good shit in this. He kind of gets fucked in the third act though. So
yeah. It's pretty slow to me. Um and
yeah,
like you said, there's a lot of shit that wasn't
why is
needed.
this here? Yeah,
Like I thought I completely forgot that like I can't even remember the bad guy's name. Owen Shaw.
yeah, something like
He gets
that.
captured and then they take him back to the military base. He's like, "You're gonna let me go."
And they're like, all right.
All right. Yeah, and then
we have 45 minutes left in this movie. You need to get out of here.
yeah, come on, we need to speed this up.
Climax time.
Um, I don't. It's fine. It's whatever.
How dare you? How dare you? It has one of the best set pieces in this goddamn franchise.
It's okay. It's mid.
No. I think it's top 3 personally.
It's
Top
top
4? Top
three.
3? I don't know. Well, up there. It's up there.
Like I said, it's not bad, but it's not particularly good.
How dare you?
How
So
dare
then we
you?
move on to the Fast and the Furious, Tokyo Drift. Caden's previously,
What used to be my favorite.
previous favorite, his ex favorite. What are you thinking about this movie now? In
Oh,
retrospect,
the vibes in this movie.
I will agree the vibes are pretty good here.
Um,
Good vibes generated here.
got the classic mid 2000s
Yeah,
like
which
the
apparently this
car
movie.
culture.
Yeah, apparently we're supposed to believe now that this movie takes place in the 2010s. So
Yeah, like 2013 or something.
yeah,
No, literally 2015 because it takes place at
yeah,
the same time as Fast and
right.
Furious.
Yeah,
I'm just like,
exactly.
what?
Yeah, come on.
What are you talking
Come
about?
on, guys.
Um, but it was good. Um, no, I say that like a bad thing. So this has the most intense vibes of the show for sure,
Yeah.
and that's something I can definitely appreciate. Me, loving the Japanese car culture. They have a lot of there's some. This is like I think the least action movie.
Oh, for sure. Yeah.
Um, the
A
climax,
gun gets pulled out like
yeah.
50 minutes into the movie. I'm like, whoa,
Whoa,
firearms,
guns.
firearms. That's crazy.
The climax sucks.
Yeah, it's bad.
Climax is good.
Like they're having this race, and like the Yakuza's just standing there, like the three Yakuza representatives that wanted to show up to this fucking drag race are just there
Yeah,
with all these high schoolers. Like,
it's it's weird. I love the the school life shit to hard cut like underground street
yeah,
racing.
yeah. I mean, Bow Wow's in this movie for some reason. I like him. I think he does an okay job here as like I'm the friend. I'm the little friend that doesn't really do anything.
Yeah,
But I think I like the first act of this movie. I think it's solid enough. I do kind of like the angle of like we're looking at like someone who's not even a pro driver. So, like
right.
he's not Brian O'Connor level. He's not
No.
Dominic Toretto level yet. So we're sort of seeing like the first like come up in this
Mm.
in this
Hmm.
series.
Yes.
And that's what I kind of like about this movie. But you get Han as like the mentor, which I also love. Han's great in this one.
Yeah.
Too bad he dies at the
Um.
end.
Yep.
Nobody ever really does.
No. Um. But
Life is eternal.
in the Fast series, yeah.
Yeah.
So yeah, I agree with a lot of what you said. Han, I think, is my favorite character in the Fast
Oh, he's
franchise.
awesome.
Um,
And his character's
there's
a lot
some,
more heavy in this one because of
yeah,
Fast and Furious 6. Like he's just going through it right now.
yeah, exactly. Um, there's some really good cars in this
Yeah,
one.
there's really good races in this one. I like the races in this one.
Yeah, no, the races in this one are great. More women,
Yes,
more
women
Japan.
women exist.
Good film.
Yeah, it's decent. I definitely think like a stronger final race could have
Yeah, it could have
elevated
bumped
it.
it.
I also think the villain's kind of generic. The fucking his delinquent sidekick was more interesting to me than him actually.
Yeah, Josuke, knockoff Josuke.
Yeah, I like the dad. Whenever the villain pulls up on
He pulls out the gun on him.
yeah, and he's like, "Hey,
I
motherfucker,
wouldn't do that if I were
get
you.
off!" He invokes his American nature and is like, "Get off my property, motherfucker! Second Amendment, let's
I
go."
love how Sean is fucking. He's fighting
Yeah,
against
Sean.
the. Yeah, Sean is his name. He's fighting against the Yakuza, and his dad's like, I'm putting you on a plane tonight when he finds out he's dealing with the Yakuza, and he's like, but dad, I gotta deal with my own mistakes.
I
And
got it. Yeah.
his dad's like, okay, at least you're
Okay.
not doing what I did.
All right.
All right.
You're getting on a plane tonight. But
But
Papa,
father,
Papa, you can't do this to me.
papa.
I was shocked to see that he had a country accent. That was crazy.
Oh, it's
You don't
because,
see those get a lot of rep in the Fast
and it's not a
franchise.
fake either. That's his
Yeah.
accent in real life.
Yeah. Uh, Best part about this movie though. Well, one I love that scene where they're playing soccer on top of the fucking building. The
Yes.
vibes in that scene are immaculate. But also right at the tail end of the movie, Sean has to race somebody, and it's fucking Dominic, and I'm just like, let's fucking go. And apparently, what was the story again with them making a cameo in this movie?
So, hold on. So pretty much, the Universal wanted Vin Diesel to come back and make a cameo to boost sales for the movie in theaters.
Because it wasn't doing too hot, yeah.
Well, I think
with test screenings,
yeah, maybe. I mean, who knows? But Vin Diesel agreed, but under one condition, and it was that Universal give him the sole rights to the Riddick franchise, and he produced Riddick 2013 all on his own.
Good for him. Get your bag, Vin. Get your fucking bag.
He didn't seem like a smart guy, but maybe he is.
Oh no, dude. Come on.
He's a genius.
He's a genius.
That was in the 3rd grade.
Yeah. He looks so in that scene. He looks so like he just looks down. He looks down to think about it after he's like, oh, that's a good point, I guess.
Yeah,
that's true.
So yeah, Tokyo. I was about to Tokyo Ghoul.
So transitioning into the next movie, we get a post-credit scene. Or no, excuse me. We get a post-credit scene in Fast and Furious 6 because Han fucking dies. It's just like, which also like, I don't believe for a second that Justin Lin was planning all of this. Like, I don't believe that.
He wasn't even a director for all these movies.
I don't know why he killed Han in this movie. I don't really know what purpose it served. Honestly, it didn't seem to motivate Sean very much to like do better in the race or like anything like that. Han just kind of fucking dies and everyone moves on. It's kind of weird. But holy shit, does he manage to turn it around and turn it into one of the best retcons I've ever seen in a movie.
Oh, it's fucking great.
So Fast and Furious 6, right? They show this scene where they're racing through the city, and Han dies. Right, the car fucking burns up. Because he was hit by another car, and out of the car comes fucking Jason Statham as Deckard Shaw, the best villain in this series so far.
Yes.
And like, I was actually so fucking hyped whenever he was on the phone. He's like, "You don't know me.
You don't know me yet,
but you will." Oh, dude, and the car explodes so hard, dude. So that
was
hard.
Fucking awesome.
That was like the best twist of all time.
And then they do it again in Furious 7,
right?
And it's revealed that that scene is taking place at the same time as the scene in Furious 7
when the house gets blown up.
And he says that, and then it's such a good series of events. He says that, and then Dom looks at the phone, and it's from Japan, and then he looks at the package, and it's written in like Japanese, and he goes, "Get down!" And then the house just fucking explodes.
Yeah. Okay. We need to. Okay. I want to go through Furious 7 because honestly, like, I think it's like a really. It's very hard. It's this one or Fast 5 is my absolute like, favorite. So like it's like it opens with Jason Statham in the hospital talking to his brother, and it's just like, you know, low key, just like, "Oh, we'll get my revenge," kind of speech, and then like he puts a gun on him, and then we cut to right in front of him, and it's the fucking hospital staff just terrified.
Yeah.
And he, like, in one of the best like scenes ever, he walks through the hospital just like murdering cops, and it's fucking amazing, and it really establishes like who he is as a villain. It's like, I don't give a fuck, I'm just gonna come in here and murder everybody, because apparently like he's like defined as like a shadow, basically. Like he can't be tracked. He's like a fucking secret agent, and god damn it, I love that scene. So then we get like Dominic and Letty like doing a good old fashioned race. They go back to Race Wars. Yeah, finally, it's about time we went back to Race Wars. Like we get a nice little scene with them. But then we get The Rock and Jason Statham shows up, and they have a sick fight. Although, you know, Jason Statham probably should have died several times from The Rock's hits. But, you know, he pulls off some big brain shit. You know, he throws a grenade, uses a table to block it. The Rock, like, flies out of the window, like, 3 stories down and like collapses onto a car.
Yeah.
It's just insane.
It's so good. Wow, he flies out the window and
Yeah.
he just lands in a car, and you're telling me the only thing broken is his arm?
And you use the power scaling. You use the power scaling. It's like, Hobbs is like, on par at least with Vin Diesel.
Yeah.
So if Jason Statham's stronger than him, you know what's about to happen.
Dude.
That
power
scene's
scaling in these movies.
the feats in these movies are just insane.
It's ridiculous.
So then, I you know what? I think this movie has some of Paul Walker's best stuff, despite it actually not being him most of the time. Like, you get him dropping the kid off at school.
Yeah.
There's a really funny scene where it's like he's fucking getting ready to. It looks like he's getting ready to drive like 100 miles an hour. He just pulls up to the school. It's funny little funny. This whole thing is directed by James Wan, by the way, so it kind of different vibes going into this one.
Yeah.
Kind of a bit goofier, a bit more lighthearted than Fast and Furious 6. So then you get the whole scene with the package, which is just amazing.
Yes.
And they have Han's funeral, and so in keeping with Jason Statham, with Deckard Shaw's theme, he just rolls up to the funeral and just fucking watches them, and dude, the fast crew's like, let's go fucking kill this bitch, which is just, it's great. They're ready to throw hands. And they have this little car chase. It's like one of the most low-key car chases I've ever seen in a fast movie, because there's no music. There's no music.
There's the worst line where Tyrese Gibson looks at Paul Walker and he goes, "Just promise me one thing, no more funerals." And then Paul Walker goes, "One more, his."
Oh, that was hard, bro. Come on, you can't tell me that was raw. Come on, that was raw.
It's raw.
And then Vin Diesel goes and chases after him, and then they fight.
I like the way that it was cut. The cut, or the way that specific fight scene was cut.
Yeah.
And the way that specific fight scene was cut, it reminded me of like a Transformers movie.
Oh yeah, for sure. It was just like the whole thing. This movie feels very much Transformers-y.
Yeah.
It's very weird. Then Kurt Russell shows up, and Caden thinks he's bad in this movie. I think he's okay.
He's fucking terrible.
He's all right. He serves a purpose. He's just like he's like the high up government nobody who's like, you want a beer? And he's like, nah, I want a Corona.
I want a Corona.
Give me a Corona. Make
the
sure to turn the
performance.
face out to the camera.
This is the worst performance I've ever seen of Kurt Russell's.
It's fine. He serves a purpose. So come on. It was so funny whenever fucking they left him out for dead in the desert. You just see the chopper.
Yeah, and you see the chopper coming.
It's like, oh no.
I like it's for some reason I love that shot. How he's like,
how
he's sitting there like bleeding out in the desert while this chopper's coming
it's over.
But no, I don't his line delivery.
So then he's fine, whatever.
No, he's like, yeah, there's a war going on between shadows like me.
The shadows.
And he says everything in such an intentionally dramatic way.
I know, it's fast. You gotta be overly hammy about this.
But his is even worse than normal.
Okay. So then you get the squad together, and like Caden pointed something out, and it was actually very true. Like the cast has been thinned to a point where it's like almost sad to see how many of them are actually left. Like you only got Roman, Tej, Dom, Brian, Letty. We got Letty back, but that's I think that's literally the crew. Like that's it.
Yeah.
No Han, no Giselle. Hobbs is out of commission for this mission, although he wouldn't have actually gone. But like he's in the hospital. Oh yeah, there's a great scene with him and fucking Vin Diesel where they're talking, and
Sean
The Rock has.
Yep.
The Rock has the greatest line where he's like, "I'm gonna make him wish his mother had closed his legs," or some shit like that. So hard. There's so many hard lines in this movie. So many bars.
Yeah.
Many bars. So then, I love this fucking scene because it easily like should have gone another way in any other movie. But like they have to get the drop off on this guy
Yes.
who they're hunting. That Mr. Nobody's sending
This
them to
road on
hunt.
Azerbaijan.
Yeah,
In
and they're like,
Azerbaijan.
okay, so we got to come up with a plan. And Tyrese is just like, you know what? I'm gonna be the tactician. And I'm like, okay, it's gonna be like a funny scene where it's like,
Yeah.
no, that's fucking stupid. No, his plan actually gets greenlit, and Kurt Russell's like, this guy, he's not too
I
bad.
like
He's
this
not
way
too
that
bad.
I like the
Yeah,
way
it's
this
like,
guy.
shut the fuck up. It's Roman. Are you
God, his
serious?
line. I'm telling you, Kurt Russell was written with the worst possible line. There's one part where he looks at Vin Diesel and he's like, Dom, I gotta tell you, you truly have a gift.
Yeah.
It's like I hate it so
I
much.
love it. It's so cheesy and just and good. It's just like accepted that they're the best and they can do no wrong. It's just amazing.
Yeah.
And so they propose the plan to drop out of the sky, a la Fortnite, and parachute their cars to the
Yep.
ground. And like just watching that scene, you just know like this series has crossed a line.
Yeah.
And it cannot return past that line ever again. We are this is fantasy. This is
Yep.
just straight up superhero
No,
shit.
Julius, this isn't fantasy. This is family.
This is that's a bar. Hold on, let me write that down. Let me write that down.
Write that down.
Say it again. Say it again.
Wait, say that again.
So you get this, and this whole like chase is actually like really good. There's this great part where like they're all in like fucking jacked vehicles, like Tej is in like this armored off-roader
This
and
massive fucking Jeep.
yeah, and there's one great shot where they deploy like these machine
they
guns
pull
and
out
it's
the
like
machine guns.
and Ludacris just rolls his window up as quickly as possible. Like, I think the jokes in this movie are genuinely landing most of the time, which is something
No,
I
they're good.
appreciate. Like, back in the day, like, the jokes, they're a little like, I'm laughing at this movie and not necessarily with this movie, but I'm honestly laughing with this movie at this point.
It's
And
great.
just this whole scene, you get like a really solid scene with Paul Walker fighting Tony Jaa, and it's a really good fight scene.
Tony Jaa?
Tony Jaa. Oh. He has returned! He has risen! Say? Eh?
Oh.
So, it's a great fight scene. It's like genuinely tense. Like the bus is going over the cliff. Brian gets locked into the fucking the bus, and Tony Jaa's like, too slow, and he runs off. Which I love how goofy that guy's being. It's just like, yeah,
I know.
you do your thing. And all the while you got like girl from Game of Thrones, Natalie Emmanuel or whatever the fuck her name is, and she's the hacker. She's a new hacker.
Yep.
And Vin Diesel's like, get in the car, and he gets cornered by the guy they're hunting, and he's just like, fuck this, and he drives off a cliff.
Yeah, he drives straight off a cliff. God, there's so much shit going on in this movie.
The only option is suicide, and also another thing I love is Jason Statham is still on their asses. He's just like trying to snipe them from the background. It's so good. You get a lot of good Jason Statham ADR in this whole sequence. Like,
British.
Yeah. But no, then I mean, obviously you get the scene with Paul Walker over the cliff on the bus, and he runs and Letty just managed to land in Letty's car. It's
there's so many
a suspenseful scene.
There's so many like, oh, they can barely get it, and then they finally
close calls. Yes, I love the close calls. So that whole sequence was just great first like action scene. So then we go to in one of the greatest lines in the Fast franchise. We're going to the Middle East.
We're going to the Middle East.
They go to fucking Dubai, and it's good times. It's good times, Roman and Tej are cracking jokes. We're wisecracking, and so you get the whole scene in the tallest building in the world, and you get you get some good shit. You get Letty fighting some people. You get Letty fighting Ronda Rousey. You get Dominic and Brian.
The obligatory woman fight.
Yeah, girl fight time because men can't hit women in this Sakai. And Dom and Brian go and drive like one of the rarest cars in the world through the fucking buildings. But the best part about the scene, yet again, is Jason Statham just coming up the elevator and being like, "All right, let's fucking go." And he just starts like, not murdering anyone. He's targeting Vin Diesel and Paul Walker. It's awesome. It's an amazing scene.
Yeah. And then, well, that's when they have the car jump.
Yeah, the car jump, great. Then we kind of like get into a little lull for a second. It's like, all right, we got to go get Jason Statham, and they go get Jason Statham, all with their own special guns, which apparently Vin Diesel has like a Star Wars fucking goes pew pew pew.
Yeah,
I don't know.
His gun that the shotgun that makes the super loud like Star Wars noise.
Yeah, I still don't understand that. You get the whole scene with where they're fighting Jason Statham in like a laser tag. It's like a fucking laser tag, and Kurt Russell, you think he gets popped, but he's like, you didn't think I came in here without my armor, did you?
Exactly. See, now even you're admitting it.
That's one of the weaker action scenes in the movie to me, but you know, that's that. So then we move on to the climax. I'm just gonna get straight to the climax. This is like, it started out kind of slow for me, but like it slowly became like one of the best climaxes I've ever seen in a fast movie. So drones are a thing now, and they have to fight a drone and a chopper at the same time. And they're like they like take it back to the streets. They take it back to the OG streets where the very first movie was set, which I like. I like that.
Nice little callback.
And you get all the different set pieces going on. You got Tej and Roman, you know, with the drone, and you know Letty and fucking who's she with? Oh, she's with a hacker girl. And they're just like getting lit up by the drone and surviving somehow. It's like
everyone keeps like getting lit up by the drone, and then they'll pass her around.
All right, guys, come on, let's be real here for a second. Yeah. And so you get Paul Walker's side of things. He's having a great fight with fucking Tony Jaa, and there's this moment where he's looking up the
Tony Jaa. That's such a good name.
He's looking up the staircase. He's like, oh no, stairs.
Yeah, the funny stairs bit.
Really well cut fight scene with him and Tony. I'm just gonna call him Tony so we don't invoke the Lord's name in vain. Yes. And there's like I love that fucking part where they're fighting and Tony kicks down the door and they're just riding on this door all the way down the stairs. It's so fucking dope. I love that shit. That shit was great. And then Paul Walker ties this fucking thing to the guy Tony's leg, and he falls down like 64 floors, and he's like, Paul Walker's like, too slow. Great callback. Great callback. And you hear screams of anguish as he falls.
Yeah,
fucking dead. So then you get probably the best part of all of this, and it's Vin Diesel versus Jason Statham. Like, Vin Diesel's coming prepared. He brought a sawed-off shotgun, and so they do the funny thing where they crash into each other head on again for some reason. And he comes out with his gun, and he's like, you thought this was going to be a street fight?
You thought this was going to be a street
fight? He's like, you goddamn right. And it's like, so why the fuck did you bring a shotgun if you're just gonna?
Yeah,
I don't understand, but you know, it's whatever. And so both of them like pick up like these fucking big ass pieces of metal or whatever. I don't even know.
No, it's so hilarious. So Vin Diesel goes to like his trunk or whatever, and he just gets out two massive wrenches.
Yeah, the wrenches. Yeah, whereas like.
Jason Statham sees this, and he just pulls off like two metal shards.
Yep, and they're keeping up with the wrenches.
Like, his hand would be cut in half in like a second.
Dude, and you wouldn't fucking believe it, but they actually have a goddamn sword fight in Fast and Furious. It's so good. It's actually like a good scene. You get some like. Never in my life would I thought that there would actually be a sword battle in these. Because that's what it is. It's a dual-wielding sword battle. That's all it is, and it's so great. But then it transitions into just a hand-to-hand beatdown, and you know, Dom's got the power, but Deckard's got the, he's got the footwork, he's got the leg work. You know, Dom isn't a big fan of using his legs, and that's kind of what cost him in this fight, I think. But Deckard, he's got the moves. He's got the training. He's got the moves. But then of course. You get the greatest climax of all time. And it's... Oh, before that, though, The Rock breaks out of his cast from the hospital, grabs his fucking giant-ass gun.
The best line where he goes, it's time for Daddy to go to work.
Yes, Daddy's home. Let's go.
He steals an ambulance.
Yes! I forgot about that. He just literally just steals an ambulance. And then he comes out, looks at the chopper and pulls out well, first of all, doesn't he like just like pull off two quick super fucking accurate shots at the
Yeah,
goddamn chopper?
I'm
Just like,
pretty sure. Yeah,
Jesus, what is this man's aim? And then he pulls out the fucking minigun and just goes
minigun.
ham, which is just perfect. That is the perfect weapon for The Rock in this instance. It's just this
Yeah,
giant, unrelenting fucking gun. And I mean, all that shit's great. But then, of course, you get possibly the greatest scene in Fast,
mm.
and it's the chopper firing at the parking lot that Vin Diesel and Jason Statham are fighting on. It gets hit. Floor's starting to crack, and Vin Diesel delivers a legendary line.
The
One thing about street fights:
always wins.
the street always wins. And fucking stomps and uses his superhuman fucking mutant strength to destroy the parking lot.
Yep.
And Jason Statham falls, but he's still not done. He has to go and throw fucking grenades into the chopper or whatever.
Yeah.
And so then he fake dies because he's not fucking. This is Fast, guys. Come on.
Of course.
Even the dead people aren't dead, as we will find out very soon. And Letty's like, I remember
everything. Yeah.
And you know, it's a nice little emotional scene, but
Nice little emotional.
it didn't really get me. But
Yeah.
let me tell you, what did get me is this next scene. The fight. Honestly, this is like the canon ending. Like,
Yeah.
this is the good ending. This is the good ending right here. Is this whole bit? Like,
hey, bro, are you saying
past
F10? Or are you saying Fast X Furious won't be the good ending?
It might be the good. It might be the bad ending. It might be the true ending. I don't know. There's so many routes.
The true route.
Yeah, you get. I mean, you could. There's a bunch of different endings actually. Now that I think about it, you could have with this series. You could have the prison ending where Dom goes to prison and just lives his life out there for the rest of forever. You got the fucking the rich ending where we're just chilling after Fast 5, not worrying about shit. What else you got? You got fucking. I mean, those are really most of the endings, but but this is. They pulled this shit off, man. They really executed this so well. So it's about time to say goodbye to Paul Walker, but that doesn't mean he has to die. He's just gonna go off with his family, you know, live a normal life finally.
Yep.
And man, when that piano hits and they're all sitting on the beach, it just something about it. It's just it grips you, and then
that'd be so good.
They pull up to the stop sign, him and Paul Walker together. And they show his face, and they did a really good job on Paul Walker's face here. Like that, it looks really good. And you know, "See You Again" is blaring.
Yep. And
they split off.
Then they play the montage.
Oh no, never mind. I was about to say something else.
Oh.
No. I'll talk about it. Yeah, they play the montage. That shit's great. With the music playing, it all hits different with "See You Again" playing in the background. Like the scene would not have had the impact without that song. They split off, you know, Paul Walker symbolically dying basically, and that's Furious 7, what should have been the true ending for the franchise. Unless, I don't know, maybe these next few movies are going to be super good. But no, what I was laughing about was then like, so they put up for Paul, which, you know, killer, Jesus Christ. But they also put up then the credits start and it's just like this happy fucking song. Yeah, let's fucking go.
I know. And then like some fucking happy music.
Yeah, it's like, what the fuck? Paul Walker just died, but you know, you could argue that's what Paul would have wanted. You know,
it's what Paul wants.
But honestly, Paul Walker was he just brought a different presence to this franchise. You know, he was like the more low key character, and I really like that about. He sort of ran counter to like the big personalities like Hobbs or Dominic Toretto or Roman or Tej. He was like the low key guy, and you know, he was like, as I said, he would smile on main. Like he like smiled for so much of those movies that I don't know. I have a really good memory of all of the stuff that he was in. Like
it genuinely made me sad.
Yeah, and it's like we're not gonna get any movies with him anymore, and that really bums me the fuck out because he was like just such a good presence in all of these. So
yep.
Man, that's the fast that's the fast movies we watched so
Yeah.
far. We
We
still
have
got
we have a couple more.
Fate
Fate.
as well as F9,
Yes.
which we may or may not see very soon. Um,
Who
you'll
knows?
see on the next episode. I don't know. So yeah, that was the Fast as well as the Furious.
Indeed. Well,
Um,
goddamn.
uh, I wanted to talk. I want to talk about E3 real quick and bring it right back around to where we that was our actual first topic ever. That's a little weird to think about.
Yeah.
We hadn't shit else to talk about if we're being honest.
That's a good point.
Like we had nothing
Yeah.
legitimately. So here's some games that were announced from E3. Uh,
Mm.
so Battlefield 2042. I don't really care. I don't really like Battlefield games.
People
Do
just
you?
want it because the shot of the guy jumping out of the plane.
Yeah, and apparently there's like storms and shit. It's like set in the future. It looks
Yeah.
fine. It just
It's
looks like another
whatever.
Battlefield. You ever play any Battlefield games?
No,
Yeah.
I haven't played
I played
one.
a few games of Hardline. That was kind of fun. Battlefield 1 was pretty good. The story was neat.
Yeah.
I played Battlefield 4 like the campaign a lot. The campaign on that game was pretty fun. Oh, parachute. Hold on. Random parachute lying in the street. Okay.
Oh yeah. I'm gonna have to get back on here in a minute with you.
Hey.
But
Some other shit. Oh yeah, continue.
well, no. I mean I don't. I'm gonna be honest. This year was a little lacking for me.
Mm.
Not a whole lot that I particularly care about, other than the new Forza game. But like,
Oh.
you know, you know.
Oh
Um,
shit.
what?
Some guy just fucking collided into my car on his fucking bike. He just spun the fuck out. Oh, you want to
Yeah.
fight now? Let's go. Hold on.
I'm gonna get on.
The street
You're gonna
always
invite me.
wins.
But yeah, I
Now
mean,
I look
you know.
racist. It was a black guy. God damn it. I look like a racist. And my bald ass head. God damn it.
Yep.
I can't
Um.
stand- Okay, I will
Yeah.
tell you it was not a lackluster year for me because let me tell
Oh,
you
you're a
what just got
Nintendo boy.
fucking no, not Nintendo,
No,
not
not Nintendo.
Nintendo, but a highly anticipated game for me. So I got into the Souls series pretty recently. Like last year, I played Dark Souls 3, loved it. Played a few more of the games, never really finished any of the other ones, but you know, it's
Mm.
whatever. But this E3, Elden Ring was finally announced. Now this game got a teaser trailer a long time ago, and it was purported to have been made by the person who made the Souls games,
Yeah,
Miyazaki, not Hayao Miyazaki.
I was about to say.
Hidetaka Miyazaki, I think is his name, and George R. R. Martin from Game of Thrones. So that was just such an interesting conceit, and plus this one was labeled as much more RPG oriented, and I like RPGs, so I was a little hyped for that. And the
Mm.
trailer just it looks amazing. Like the enemies all look so creative and dope as fuck. The abilities look super unique. The world looks fucking great. What was I gonna say? Fuck. Fuck me. It was a great trailer. I'm so hyped for this game. I'm wondering like all the George R. R. Martin shit's gonna come. Like, did he create the lore for this world? I wonder. Like,
Yeah,
I don't know. I'm very curious to see.
yeah. I'm
It is gonna
not
be like Game of Thrones because there's gonna be a lot of death. So there's
right.
that, I guess.
I'm not massive into that series. I don't really know a whole lot about it, but
Yeah.
hey, who knows? Maybe I'll get it.
You should if you're gonna play any for me, Dark Souls 3 was a fucking great start. I
Yeah,
love that.
you were on the
That's
grind for that
I think that's my favorite like game. Like I think
ever.
period.
Yeah,
I like it was such an experience to play through that, such a journey. And, you know, I played it during a rough time in my life. So, you know,
Mhm.
it really carried me through. It was a weirdly comforting game despite the fact that it's dark as shit. And
Yeah.
there's like demons that want to fucking kill you everywhere, but you know how it is.
You know how it goes.
Um I saw the trailer for Evil Dead the game, and it actually like doesn't like Friday the 13th, the game is just ass. Like it looks like ass, it plays like ass. But
Yeah.
Evil Dead the game actually looks sick. Like you're fucking pulling off combos on demons and shit. It looks dope. And I'm a fan of the Evil Dead series, so you know me.
Mm.
Uh
Yeah.
then you get Far Cry 6. I played some of Far Cry 5's. I didn't really continue with it. Far Cry 4 I kind of liked. That was a neat game. I like the world in that game. And Far Cry Blood Dragon was my favorite though. It's like an 80s themed Far Cry, which was dope as fuck. It was more like a DLC kind of thing though. It was very short but extremely fun. But
Yeah.
in this one you get Gus from
Yeah.
Breaking Bad. So there's that, I guess. Maybe you can cook in this game. Who knows? Maybe you can cook meth.
Maybe
That'd be pretty cool.
that would be.
Um, yeah, Forza Horizon 5.
Uh,
After that,
yeah. So this is probably the only game that I have anything to talk about.
right?
Pretty much. Oh, I'm spectating you. That's sick. Um. It looks good.
Yeah.
You
Does
know,
it
they're
look like
all pretty
standard fare?
similar.
Yeah.
Well, I think they've. I remember back, like, they pretty much maxed out on the graphics
Mm. Like
because
there's
there's a
just a
limit to
certain
that.
yeah, there's just a point where it's diminishing returns. It's like you can't really get any better than this.
Yeah, and I
And the
mean,
games look
like,
really good. So
no, yeah, they look amazing. Just that, I. What am I
yeah.
saying? Um, it it looks good. I
Okay.
guess I'm sort of at a loss for words here, but
That's all good.
um, it's in Mexico this time, and a
Ooh.
lot of people were pissed because they've been asking for Japan for
Oh.
God knows how
I thought you were
long.
about to say what the fuck. Okay. I thought you were
What?
about to say people were pissed 'cause it
Mexicans?
was
Yeah.
oh no.
No. But
Get
no,
him out of here.
Mexico has a big car culture.
Yeah.
Um, and I mean the graphics they pretty much maxed out on. It looks like they're adding some more futures.
Yeah.
People really care about customization and like
Yeah, how else are you gonna get an Oscar car, man? Come on.
exactly. Well, I already have Oscar,
I
but
know. That's what I'm saying. It's that level of customization. It's
yeah,
just people love it.
like the new body kits, and they're gonna have like fucking convertibles in this game now and shit.
Yeah.
And it looks good, it's decent. I mean, they haven't talked at all about it. They're keeping a
Right.
lot of shit
Keeping
under
under
wraps
wraps.
for
Okay.
sure. But from what I've seen, it looks decent.
Okay.
Yeah.
Um, I'm sorry. I just have to point out somebody in the chat of the GTA of GTA just fucking said they really need a fast travel system. Lol.
They
You
do.
realize you're playing fucking Grand Theft Auto, where you have to drive fucking cars to places.
Hey, invite
Like,
me,
you know how
bud.
boring that would be? You want me to invite
Invite
you?
me. Invite
Okay,
me.
hold
Yeah.
on. Have you been waiting this whole time, just
Maybe.
twiddling your thumbs, just waiting
Maybe.
for me? I can't invite you. I don't know why.
Oh.
I'll join you.
I'm not in a game.
Okay. I literally can't invite you. I don't know why.
That's interesting.
Cops are shooting at me. Yeah, I don't know why. I
Yeah.
can't.
What,
Um,
from the social games menu? From the Rockstar menu?
maybe.
Yeah, try
Um,
that.
okay.
Um,
Next thing that was announced was Halo Infinite. Or not,
announced, quote unquote.
not the game Halo Infinite, but multiplayer was announced. But I mean,
Multi
Halo.
what do you need to announce that?
Yeah,
That's the
I
only
can invite
reason why
you.
people play these games anymore.
Right. I mean, I didn't play too much multiplayer, but it looked pretty decently fun.
Yeah.
I played a few games here and there, but I generally would play the campaign because I fucking sucked at online. But you know,
Yeah. I mean, the campaign 5 was my first one and
yeah.
I was able to get into it, but at this point they're whatever.
All right.
None of them from what I've seen have been particularly good.
Yeah.
It's just people just play it for the multiplayer and the multiplayer's entertaining and fun. Um
That's some
yeah.
interesting modes. I like Halo's modes. They're fun.
Yeah, they're
Um.
good. I wonder if this one's going to be rated M or rated T
Oh, good
because
point.
5 was the first rated T entry.
Yeah. Oh, that's true.
But yeah.
They're making it for the normies, the children.
Yeah, lame.
Lame children. Hideo Kojima's coming out with a new game. We don't know what it is yet. He did talk about 9/11 for some reason.
That's interesting. Thank you, Kojima.
Um,
Very strange man.
we got fucking what else we got? Oh,
I don't know.
what do we got here? Oh, we got there's gonna be a Guardians of the Galaxy game, so that's it. What the fuck is wrong with my hair? What happened?
Ew, you have hair. You have glasses too.
What the fuck? Wait,
What
no,
the
no, no, no.
fuck?
This is bullshit. Hold on, we're going to a haircut place.
No, I'm ordering a plane. I'm ordering a
No, no, no.
helicopter.
I'm gonna drive a fucking car because I'm Dominic Toretto, motherfucker.
You just
Understand? You motherfucker.
get in my car, dude.
I'm not getting in your car, you son of a bitch. Okay, so yeah, Guardians of the Galaxy game was announced. I didn't watch the trailer, but I mean, more superhero games can't hurt, I guess. You know,
Yeah.
You fucker.
Other than that, what has come out?
Oh, that's coming out.
Okay.
Um, where's all the Nintendo shit? Like, where is that? Is it not
I
on this
don't-
list?
I don't think. a
Is
whole
it
lot of
only
Nintendo
counted on
shit even got
Nintendo
revealed.
Direct? Was it not E3, I guess? Hold on. Okay,
I don't know.
we'll move on to Nintendo Direct. All right,
Yes.
folks. So obviously the biggest thing is Legend of Zelda Breath of the Wild 2, which everyone's hyped about.
Yeah.
I have that game. I haven't played it yet. I mean, the game just looked beautiful. The open world shit is really cool. I like it. Good. New Metroid coming out, Metroid Dread, which is such an inviting title for a Nintendo, a Nintendo game. Just go ahead and dread playing this game real quick.
Yes.
What else? What else did Nintendo put out? New Mario Party. You know, we love Mario Party out here. We're a Mario Party family. New WarioWare game. I know Caden's excited for that one.
Oh, I fucking
I know
hate
you are
WarioWare.
excited.
I hate it. I despise it.
Shin Megami Tensei 5. I almost said the 5th because it was in a V.
The 5th?
It looks like Persona. Because you know, Persona like
It's just
Persona like is
but made before Persona.
Persona's a child of like Shin Megami Tensei, right?
Yeah, it's a spin-off.
Okay.
But one that got
But
more
bigger,
popular
yeah.
than the original game.
So there's that.
Yeah.
You know how
Yeah.
it is. So I mean, you know what? You're right. Actually, not that much from E3 this year. I think I was kind of I was tunnel visioned on fucking Elden Ring, but you know, other than that, you know, it's fucking. You're a fucking bitch. I'm just trying to go get a fucking haircut, and you are ramming into my car. You're a fucker. I'm gonna shoot your tires out. Oh, I mean, okay. I mean, that's really all I had to talk about, honestly.
Yeah. I mean, same here.
Fuck.
Long episode.
Very long. I'm actually not sure how long this is.
You're gonna have quite a bit of editing to do on this one, though.
Not really. I mean, there's not much for me to
No?
edit out. Except, you know, a couple
A lot of-
occasions.
Yeah.
There's mongrels, you know,
There's
mongrels and
mongrels.
all. You fucker!
I'm trying to give you a boost, dude.
Fuck you. But I mean, yeah, this has been episode 22. I enjoyed Great Pretender.
Yeah.
But Caden, I'm ready to get back on the shonen grind, buddy. It's about time you get back. You get back on the get your nose on the shonen grindstone because next month,
I already have.
next month we are going to be covering. We'll just say one of the big three.
One of the new
big three of shonen.
Yeah.
And it's gonna be a lot. It's gonna be a lot to talk about, honestly. So buckle
Stay
up for
tuned.
that. I'll put a neat little soundbite at the end to give you a hint of what it is, and you'll know what it is immediately because I already gave you the hint that it was part of the big three. But you know, fuck it. But this has been the Misfortune Podcast.
It has.
Thanks for listening, guys.
Thanks for listening.
Thanks
for tuning in.
listening to us summarize a movie that's over 5 years old.
Yeah.
And going into great detail about it.
Bro, we've been covering Kara, and those started coming out in what, 2007?
Good point.
But no one watches those.
Yeah. So this has been the pod. We are starting. So I failed. I failed, you guys.
Cool. Master
We
Birch.
recorded the first episode of. What the fuck? Okay, Jesus, thank you. We recorded the. No, what is wrong with my hair? Fuck!
My game's lagging so bad.
Okay, we recorded the first episode of the Misfortune Podcast After Hours channel. But my wise ass thought that it was a good idea to wait for a little while, and the link for the recording expired. So, that's not coming out anymore, guys. I'm sorry. That's not happening. We'll probably record an... You fucker! Japan! Ah! That's not coming out anymore, but there will be another version of it, I'm sure.
Yeah.
Someday. But we are going to start posting on the After Hours channel, so go ahead and sub to that if you want to see some more of us bullshitting. But yeah, this has been the pod.
Yeah.
Thank you guys for listening.
We'll see you next week.
We'll see you next minute. Next second.
Next
week. We'll see you next week.
Goodbye, everyone.
Get to Alt-Tab real quick.
It's gonna take a while.
It's been fun.
Goodbye.
Goodbye.